Alright, and we're on. Hello, guys. Alright, we're gonna jump right into it, doing our quick little read-in, and then hopefully get started on the incredibly tense shopping episode.
We're going shopping!
Oh my god, yay!
We need stuff.
So, last time you guys decided to take a well-needed and well-deserved rest day after defeating the Lord of Eyes, whatever the hell he was, recovering in the Indrik family estate in their hold of Shadowfen. Some of you got some much-needed sleep. Liv passed through the entire day in her, I suppose at this point, kind of a trademark pattern of just passing out for long periods of time. But Selima and Thurgle, while Liv and Valerica were both passed out hard, caught Drada Indrik, the Baroness, up on all of the goings-on of Goravia and discussed the implications of essentially felling an entire nation inadvertently, and what that could possibly mean for the future. After resting...
It was an accident!
It totally was. Totally was. Definitely did not mean to, as you all discovered later, entirely potentially wipe out the royal family of Goravia. You know. So, hey, things happen.
Typical Tuesday,
Typical Tuesday. But, as you guys had gotten some rest, Valerica decided to, what did you do last time, actually?
We scryed on...
That's right, you contacted the scryer, who could not find the individual who had hired you, or blackmailed you, I should say, leading to the conclusion that he is either resistant to the scrying, or at least was in that day, or is dead. However, upon scrying upon the location of the capital city of Goravia and seeing the widespread devastation and destruction, you could surmise that he is in fact perished. As to whether this will come back to bite you later, who can say? Thurgle decided to have a long day of smithing and training with the local smith who worked to do the minor repairs for those training on estate grounds. Spread the good word of Hephaestus, made hundreds of nails, saving an enormous amount of time for an otherwise very mundane task. Selima took the blood oath of loyalty to the Indrik estate and earned her sigil, so that she could be an agent of the Indrik family. And then, with your designs of potentially turning your puzzle box homestead into a functioning town, and having a fair bit of shopping to do before heading back to Thurgle's homeland, which he did confirm was indeed attack by roving pirates who had stolen a very important warship. You are all setting off to the town of Warbury, the largest settlement in the Shadowfen hold, and home of a myriad of adventurers who come and go, hoping that you guys can find all kinds of fun things there. So, it'll be about a half-day travel, not too far. You do have carriages arranged and ready to go. I believe you guys had hopped into a carriage. We're flying off.
Currently in a carriage.
Perfect. A couple hours still to go. Selima had sent Adair out to kind of keep an eye out for anything. But the well-patrolled and well-maintained streets and roads of Shadowfen Hold leave very few dangers to plague anyone traveling. So it's a smooth ride, and soon enough, you do see, resting atop the hill, hiding behind its walls, the grand city of Warbury. So.
Just over those hills. You know, this is actually where Selima and I met, I believe. No, this is where Uther and I met.
Yes.
His grand entrance was throwing a dwarf at a cart that I was standing next to.
Was it justified?
He touched his hammer.
Yes.
I would say that is justified.
Then he explained calmly to the dwarf that consent is important before touching. I believe the dwarf learned a valuable lesson that day.
Sometimes you need to learn hard way.
At this
Indeed.
point, is going to have woken up and started to wander about and realize that, she's inside the mansion, asleep by herself.
Yep.
Do you guys have the mansion with you?
I do.
Perfect. So, Liz gonna take her sweetheart's time. I have a good breakfast.
Okay.
She doesn't care what time of day it is. She's gonna have a nice breakfast. And if Noah's up by she's done eating, then she's gonna pop.
All right. You said you're popping out.
So, Valerica,
Yeah.
I know you know Liv a little more than I do, but I had my spending with her, but I never really experienced her sleep schedules as intricately as you have. Is this normal?
Yes.
Fair enough. She did not sleep well in the water plane, that is for sure.
I don't imagine much was comfortable there.
For her, no.
Fair. Are there any other elemental planes that you wish to travel to?
I'm not sure, but I will say the water plane itself was not bad. I don't want to live there, but it was a nice vacation.
It's a very optimistic way of looking at it.
Exactly. So wouldn't mind spending some time in other planes to experience them. But,
I am interested in a couple. There's the Astral Sea sounds very, very interesting for me. It's a bloody violent place, though.
Well, maybe if we get to reunite with Uther and Thea, we could pay a visit there. Because I'm sure he would love it.
I'm sure. I don't know if we'll be seeing them again.
Of course.
Maybe
I can
we should
only
try
hope.
on them.
Oh my god.
Just check in, see how they're doing at some point. But I will say, Master Thurgle, I'm glad you and Liv came back. My entire life, I've watched adventures come and go. Not a lot come back.
I understand that. Being a traveler amongst the sea myself, and the methods I have, I've seen more people leave by their own accord or not than I really would. So it is nice to be back and really good to see you. I've missed you.
You too. You know, I was trying every day on the stones to get in contact with you two. For months.
Ooh, lost them.
Then they left again.
Very poor timing.
Was excessively poor timing and really funny.
Yeah. Sorry, our Discord literally just died.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll fix everything in a moment. We can still hear you. There's
Oh,
no
we can't
video.
see them.
No,
Now it's coming.
come back.
That was so weird.
Perfect.
I was just like,
This
and now
kid.
they've left again.
We're gonna give Valerica freaking abandonment issues here.
Seriously,
Seriously.
though, like as you're talking, I
Just
really missed
shimmered.
you. I'm really glad you guys came back. Thurgle gone. You check your bag. Puzzle box gone.
Everything's gone.
You look
Carriage
around.
gone.
You look around. Suddenly the carriage is gone. Everything, and then you just hear. You thought you could escape the Lord of Eyes. Anyway,
Cutting him.
waking from
Plot
that,
twist.
right? Waking, I'm not that great at it. Also, it's just mean.
Also, do you want to see the worst fail of Salt Bay?
Oh, no.
One giant salt rock just falling. Perfect. 10 out of 10.
Oh my god, that was great.
Of all the possible outcomes, that was the best. I'm so excited about that.
I was
That
definitely
wonderful.
failing forward if ever I've seen it. Okay,
Failing forward.
I love it. It was great. So, please continue. Don't let this weird blip in reality suddenly stop a conversation.
Okay, hold up. So last we left off, as I was saying, I'm glad that you returned. I'm glad that Liv
It is
returned as
back.
well.
I know everyone feels safer and stronger now that we're all together.
As do I.
Sam, I think I'm going to Liv and maybe update her on what's going on.
By all means.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Into the puzzle box you go. Liv, are you still having breakfast? Yeah, breakfast.
Yes, and I had asked the constructs to make me a breakfast as similar to something from my homeland that they possibly could, because I was really, really craving that.
Okay. Okay. Somehow, they actually managed to make a couple of dishes that are not too dissimilar, lacking in some nuance. But it's strange because they're definitely not from your homeland, and your homeland is largely isolated. So how they know this, you don't know, but they figured out some kind of facsimile to your food.
Thurgle slipped him a cookbook.
Well, there you go. I guess we'll never know.
But yes, I'm stuffing my face because, you know, we had a really long battle and then I slept for like 12 hours potentially, so I'm pretty sure I'm starving at this point. So I'm just like,
Yep, fair enough. So, Thurgle, you walk in. Liv stuffing her face full of food that, I mean, doesn't look too dissimilar from a lot of breakfast items that exist in the world. There's a lot of porridges and gruels and breads in the world. A couple of things you don't really recognize, but one that smells a little, but you see Liv awake, stuffing her face, gorging on food.
Good to see you're functioning.
I was wondering where everyone was. What time is it?
You're the one that would know better than me.
I know.
But we have spent a half a day's travel, so it's at least...
I'll say, to be fair, I'm also inside. This place is not really what time it is, so we need to get out there and see the sun.
Exactly.
About 3 in the afternoon.
But there's been quite a bit happening since you were asleep, so let me catch you up.
How long was I asleep for?
What day is it? Quite some time, at least, I think 10 hours or more, depending when you woke up and had this meal.
Yeah,
I
probably close to
just
10 hours.
started.
Yeah, about 12 hours.
So yeah, close to 12 hours.
All right.
Good sleep.
All right, fast forward through conversation. He tells me everything going on with...
In exact detail.
Perfect.
So now we're currently on our way to purchase the goods.
All right. Like 2 more minutes. Because this is really good.
Just take your time. I'll be outside.
Cartoon style eating.
Like Goku in anime.
All right.
And so at that point, I'm going to exit the house.
Okay. Sounds good. Valerica, you
And
get
I will follow shortly after.
I put the cube on the seat that Thurgle was sitting in.
Okay, sounds good. Wait a sec. Oh, okay. As you put it down, it buzzes, and you hit a bump in the road, and you hear the driver. Sorry, milady. And the cube, you notice, has clattered to the floor as it lights, and Thurgle right into the seat at an odd angle.
Oh,
Oh, you
fucking
good?
shit. Oh,
Gonna pick up the cube.
You're
I
fine.
think
Like
I'm
no
fine.
damage. Just it was a little weird to come out like sideways.
that was uncomfortable. Let's. Whew.
That was not intentional.
Yes, let's try to make sure Liv has a safer exit. She'll be out here in
Sure.
a moment.
Alright. Yep.
Oh,
So another few minutes pass. Liv, do you come out?
Yes, I do.
Alright, you get the buzz. Bzz, bzz.
I put it in between two things on the seat this time.
Okay, fair enough. She into a decent seating position, at the very least. Not incredibly awkward. You're a little unsteady as you're now in a moving carriage instead of solid-ish ground. But find your bearings easy enough.
Okay.
Should be
welcome
nearing the
to
city in
land
the
of
next.
living.
Yes, we should be
So-
nearing the city in the next 10 minutes or so.
Probably about that.
For Liv's visual reference, is this the same fancy carriage or is this something else?
This is a carriage provided by House Indric. So it's a nice carriage. It'll fit like 6 people.
But it's not our carriage.
It's not your
No.
carriage, which, if I remember correctly, didn't you guys dismantle it?
No, it's back in Kornsberg.
Got it. For some reason, I thought you guys had dismantled it and put it in the mansion.
Did we? I remember I had to draw a teleportation circle for a cannon, but I don't know why.
To get the cannon in the mansion.
Okay, so the cannon's in the mansion.
Yeah. Cannon's in. Okay.
Facing the cage when we were all going crazy.
Oh, right.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, by this point, you guys are already kind of heading up the embankment. You've already seen a couple of kind of outskirt type houses that are kind of leading up to the city. The walls are there. You, Valerica, you're very familiar with the city, having grown up in and around it. This is the city that you hang out in when you're not in Kornsberg, which is frankly most of the year. So when you're not in Kornsberg or adventuring, you're here. So you know this place very well. It's got its incredibly high, very fine masonry walls. This place is a city that has a lot of wealth coming through it. Not a lot of wealth stays, but a lot of wealth goes through. So everything,
Like Vegas?
not as ostentatious, but definitely a lot more flair. This is a
Travel town?
This is a theme town. This is a town of adventurers, by adventurers, for adventurers. So
See, this is where we should set up our town within this town.
This is a little. This is a town that's a little kitsch in some of its elements. You got like really ostentatious signs, like nothing glowing like Vegas, but it's like, adventurers, come hang out. You've got big personalities everywhere.
Adventures.
Yeah, you got big personalities. You've got plenty of space for movement. Like the streets are incredibly wide. Everything's very clean. The people here, even though the lowliest street sweeper is paid pretty well, because they a maintained, cultivated city for high traffic, and sometimes they bring in some really great stuff.
And there is a statue of me in one part of the city.
There is a statue of you in one part of the city. Yes. Yes, there is. There is
Look.
in the market square. There's a statue of you and your mother and your 2 brothers.
Is it? Can we see it already?
Not
Can
quite
I tell where
yet.
it
You
says
guys are currently going up the unimaginatively named Main Street. It is, for as wide as your carriage is, you could easily fit maybe 3 or 4 carriages along, like, kind of side by side. And
Shit.
kind of looking out the windows, you see like bustling people. It looks a lot friendlier than Kornsberg for sure. Most people here look armed. Everyone here looks equal measure of like intense, but also happy. You've got like a lot of this, like, we've either come back from something big or we're moving on to something big kind of energy. Not a whole lot of like, this is a slog, another day under the yoke of the crown. This is a little bit more of a free city that's got a little more fluidity to its population.
So Liv is going to be actively looking at the windows then, because everything for her is all about travel and going places. So
Yeah.
she's going to be taking it all in. Also, placing the street grids and paths and everything so that she knows how. Like if she sees a sign of like she would know, or like a tavern that she's like, I'm gonna fucking eat something there today. Like just kind of carrying all that stuff.
Yep. Okay. You take note of a few places. You pass by one tavern, kind of this grand building, stone walls. It seems to have like a small kind of walled yard and garden. Kind of looking through one of the open doors. It's well lit inside. It's got this kind of like mosaicked floor as you're just kind of passing by it. It looks really nice. Big old sign with like an emblem of like a wolf's head, and the lettering called the Wolf's Lodge. You guys kind of pass, a few more shops. You see a couple of like alchemy shops, a couple of minor trinket-like shops. A lot of like general goods supply stuff. You pass by at least 4 or 5 pawn shop looking places, with just miscellaneous goods. Still nice, still nice stuff. But you are eventually led beyond the market square, which is filled with stalls of different crafts, different food. Think like farmer's market meets food festival meets art festival. So you just got this array of produce and goods and food and weapons, and you can see even little stalls from other stores are here, like same signage is there. In multiple places you can see adventurers kind of moving around, haggling and buying things, getting angry and getting excited. Eventually you guys are led past the large kind of guild, adventuring guild hall, and to a very nice looking, still modest in its own way, nothing incredibly lavish, but a much nicer building, which is an extension of Valerki, you would know, an extension of your estate, where the administrators of the city and everyone stays and lives and operates, like town hall, but you do have accommodations available if you so desire. You have some amenities there, but that's usually where you and your family kind of go first to like check in and see how things, then go about your business. But eventually you do kind of pull up as the cart comes to a bit of a rocky start. The door opens and you have your driver waiting for you.
Thank you, Topper.
Countess.
I'm gonna hop out.
Says, enjoy your stay in Warbury. I will be here whenever you're ready to leave.
Grateful as always.
Tips his head. So you guys step out. It's fresh. It's clean. It's lovely. I'd say Oh, that's funny. So fresh.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, it was just so because you just said that. I was like, yes.
It's funny. Valerica, make a perception check for me.
Can I have Sparks help me?
No.
Okay. 4.
4? Okay.
Oh.
Yep. Looking around. Same kind of familiar, comfortable town. Nice. Good to be here. It's nice to be here outside of the festival of adventurers.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a little quieter, for sure. But, yeah, this place is much better than the capital.
I'm gonna pop Sparks out.
Okay. Sparks comes out. Where does he sit, out of curiosity? Have him out.
He usually
a shoulder
hovers.
perch?
If he's sitting on me, he's on my shoulders.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, kind of hangs out. Makes a little nest of your hair on one side. Hangs out. Okay, so where would you like to go? What place do you want to hit up first?
I think the architect first.
Okay. Good chance he's here in the city hall.
We already confirmed that he was.
Okay, perfect. So going in, you find the very familiar city hall, and in front, you see You see a halfling woman sitting behind a kind of a kiosk. Kind of hair up in like a tight ponytail, kind of very kind of formal frock. As she kind of looks up from half moon spectacles. Ooh, Countess Valerica, how are you?
Oh, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Who are your friends?
This is Master Thurgle and Lady Liv.
Master Thurgle, Lady Liv, wonderful to meet you. My name is Yvette. I am receptionist and secretary here. What can I do for you, Countess?
We would like to speak with the architect if he is available.
She kind of gets a considering look on her face for a moment. I do believe he's in. You just wait a moment. I'll have him step right out.
Thank you kindly.
See, she kind of hops off of like this very tall stool. Her head just kind of disappears behind the kiosk. She goes through a door. A moment later, she is accompanied by an even shorter man, kind of this long, kind of beard, kind of frazzled gray hair, bit of like a beret style hat, kind of this ostentatious half cape. And you can see he's got like this arrangement of like scrolls around his belt, like pouches. You can see inkwells. He's got.
Is he also a halfling?
He is a gnome.
Or he's a gnome,
He's
okay.
a gnome, so he's even shorter than the receptionist. She guides him towards you.
Liv leans over to the crew and whispers very quietly, "He's going to make a great character for my next song."
As he walks up, he does this wildly deep bow, like flourish, like flutters the half cape off to one side. He said, "Yasser Endian Panavizir, at your service, Lady Valerica. What can I
It's
do
wonderful to see you. We have a project that we would like to consult with you on. Do you have any availability today?
I will always have availability for you. Well, what is your project? Come. As he just starts tottering off immediately into a side room.
I kind of look at them and I nod my head like, come on.
He moves quick for such a short person.
He does. He's...
I'm going to activate my glamour armor and like have the flames start leaping. That way, next and like turn on the scarf and everything so that I look super extra to go with him when we walk into the room.
Okay, fantastic. As you walk in and door kind of closes behind you, he turns and he says, "So, flames! And he starts trying to pat them out as much as he can and starts...
It's quite alright. It's quite alright. They're harmless.
Oh,
and I deactivate them instantly so he can see that they're magic.
Oh, man. Oh, I do appreciate some flair, but... warning next time. You can see I have many things here. And you look around, it's a full room of scrolls and paper, drafting tables, schematics, blueprints. By all means, turn them back on as long as they're harmless. They're lovely. Oh. He kind of fans himself. So, you said you had a project.
Yes, Thurgle, would you like to lead the conversation from this point?
Master Thurgle.
Yes, of course.
He gives
So
another
at this
deep bow.
point, and Thurgle awkwardly bows back.
He kind of gives that very, very congenial smile back.
We are looking to procure some goods. We are looking to possibly build up a significant-sized mage tower. We need assistance for forge, as well as just general supplies for other projects that require lots of metal and assistance in some cases, but I'm not sure if that would be you or if we could get with someone else for that in particular.
So
but for
construction
supplies... I'm sorry.
Construction supplies.
Correct.
Excellent. Okay. So you said for a mage tower and for a forge, yes?
Correct. To start.
To start. Quite an he looks over at you, Valera. Quite an ambitious project.
Yes.
Is there something I should know?
Yes, you get to walk into amongst a different plane to build this project.
A different plane, you say?
Indeed.
Well, that does sound intriguing. So, do you have designs already, or do you need my help drawing those up as well?
I believe that's something we would like your help with.
By all means, anything for the Countess.
Unless, Master Thurgle, you have any specific things in mind for your forge.
I would have some specific things, just mainly accessibility. I'm shorter than most blacksmiths, so things would be slightly modified.
Trust me, I understand completely. All of my designs have the small folk taken into consideration, as long as I am permitted to do so. The tall folk as well,
Of
don't
course.
worry, don't worry.
Of course, and there are some, of course, flares from my own land that I would like to add into that if you're capable of helping produce.
You bring me an artist, Valerica.
Indeed.
Excellent. So, well, may I see your designs?
I don't remember writing them down.
Well, sounds like the first step.
Precisely. Let us.
See, he has
Village.
around all of the drafting tables, which are all about the right size for a human. He has like stool, like bar stool type things, like just like these long strips of wood around everything. Everything here is incredibly accessible for him. As he immediately just starts pulling parchment and starts drawing out rough sketches of different designs for a bunch of different. He's got a couple of designs for mages' towers, a few forge designs. As he's kind of talking, he starts chattering mostly to himself. In the span of about 10 minutes, he's come up with a good handful of complete designs. He's also come up with a bunch of terrible designs that he's just kind of crunched up and tossed to the side.
I encourage him to have my mage's tower have a lot of draconic influences.
Okay, so draconic.
And if they are drawings of the forge, Thurgle is going to take the terrible ones and look and see if he may be able to talk him into designing it like one of the forge ship's interiors.
Okay.
And Liv is going to every few minutes or so be like, wonder what the acoustics would sound like in this space.
Okay.
Liv, do
Totally
you
irrelevant
want
information.
Liv, do you want us to try to build an amphitheater for you?
I would love that, but right now I'm just making sure that I can inspire you while you're working.
Do you prefer outdoor or indoor?
Oh, that's a hard question, but I do like the outdoors.
Okay.
Well, which would be easier for your voice to travel to get to more ears?
It's not just about the voice, it's about the whole experience, and having beautiful stars of the night sky behind you while you're singing has a whole feel to it that you can't do when you're indoors. I mean, there's
Valerica
magic, but it's not the same.
kind of crudely sketches out a half bowl idea with stacked seats and a rounded stage theater with a dome. So perfect audio going in and around. Can you do something like this?
He kind of looks at it and he kind of squints. I think I can. You say you want outside, yes?
Outside,
Yes.
yes.
And what about when it rains?
Between the lot of us, I'm sure we can conjure something that would protect people.
And I'm sure where it's going to be, we don't really have to worry about the rain.
Oh, true point.
At this time. If
Always
we bind
best to plan ahead, yes. I have some ideas, if you don't mind. He starts kind of sketching out some adjustments, and it looks like he, in his insanity, decides to add essentially a retractable roof
Yeah.
to an outdoor amphitheater.
I imagine it kind of stacked pieces of curved wood or metal
Yep.
that push.
So it's
There you go, indoor and outdoor.
Liv requests wood because she wants it to look more like a forest feel, rather than.
Forest feel. Lovely.
Oh yes, lots of greenery.
Does that mean you want it painted green?
I'm loving
Color
this.
you want your blacksmith 3 to be?
I am always very partial to the blacks and the reds, but whatever's available, we could always enchant for necessary modifications.
Indeed.
Now, are all of these personal use?
Yes. And then one last piece.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Elven Architecture where roots of trees blend into seed pod-like house structures?
I have seen it once or twice, not something you can really build, it's more grown.
I want to build it.
You want to build?
Is there any way that Salima could help us with that concept?
It's for Salima.
Aha!
Well, that one might be more difficult for me to design or construct. But you want it just in the style of, not in the...
In the style of, yes.
So not grown.
No.
Well, I think I might be able to do something. And this is a house?
A small, a modest house.
Well, for you and your friend? Or just for one?
That's just for one.
For one. You can see him kind of pour over some more designs. So you say this is in a different plane, yes? Transportation of goods there is difficult, perhaps?
Some easy ways to go about it.
Kind of squints at you like, okay. If I did not know any better, I'd say you were building a town.
Might.
Well, you keep your secret. So now, of course, after all of this, of course, it can be done. It will take time, however. And, of course, there's always the matter of cost.
How much would this cost?
Well, you're looking for a tower with all of the accompaniments. And that will be 15,000 gold pieces. With material and hired help included. For your theater, it will be, with these modifications, 10,000 gold pieces. Labor and material included. Your smith will be 5,000 gold pieces.
Right.
And your seed pod, we'll call that 3,000.
So 33,000 gold pieces.
In total, yes. Assuming you don't want anything extra. Or want it faster.
How long would this take?
Well, the tower, one could expect 3 months. The small house could take 3 weeks. The forge should not take very long. Should take maybe a week and a half at the most.
And if I want it done in the next few days?
Kettle looks at you. Well, we would have to hire some magic users to help.
We can help.
Oh, you can help. Well, with your assistance, of course, and my guidance, and with some extra hired magical help,
Master Thurgold is a forge cleric of Hephaestus.
that will certainly save time with materials.
Indeed.
Excellent. Well, I would say that because we have to hire additional magical help, I would say it will probably double the cost.
To 60,000?
We'll call it 60 because with your help, we can forego some assistance.
But just as an interjection, since we are providing some of this help, would that not assist in the possible discount?
So, you've already got a 6,000 gold discount. Because Valerica
I was not aware of that.
Because Valerica was sneaky.
I was sneaky?
Yeah, so it's 33,000 gold. Double.
Wait, how was I sneaky?
It was doubled to 66,000, and you said 60.
And our charisma is so high.
So he just went with 60.
I'm sorry, that wasn't even intentional.
No, it's fine.
I'm just rounding.
No. You have the nobility, you have the assistance that you're offering, and you're all very charismatic people. So
Okay. Sorry.
I was not aware of initial discount.
fair
He
enough.
wasn't mapping.
Fair enough. That's why I'm here.
All right.
Good enough. But to go along those lines, I would be able to essentially help fabricate any type of tool you would need, or any type of piece of metal or wood within literally just scraps. So I could help cut costs by essentially purchasing lesser material, but fabricating it into that what we need.
So you're talking about the fabricate spell, right?
Yes, fabricate, and then in some cases channel divinity for the other various options as well.
Okay. So you would need the same raw material. You just would need processed material.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I was going for, but
No, understood.
couldn't find the right word.
Kind of looks at you. Well, if we can get it directly from the source and not worry about the refinement of it, because you can take care of that. How much can you do this?
Essentially, every hour, Hephaestus blesses me with the capability of focusing that, and for more complicated things, I could probably do it maybe 3 or 4 times before needing to take significant rest.
Okay. So, well, with that in consideration, I might be able to negotiate a lower price for material costs. Say we take another 5,000 off.
That seems reasonable for me.
So, he looks at you, Valerica. It will still take, with everyone's assistance, we can probably get it done within a few weeks.
Oh, I asked about the price for a few days. Or is that not possible?
It's a matter of hiring enough people who are both able and willing to assist. There are limitations for constructing such things, and it's very ambitious. To do it in a few days, I would say double and double again.
Barks. He gets a bit ornery in offices. Hush. Hush. So, when you say a few weeks, do you mean 2 or 3?
I can push to 2.
Two for 55,000. Is that where we're sitting?
He kind of gets a little bit of grimace on his face. It can be done, yes.
Please explain to me what is fair and reasonable.
To ensure that no corners are cut or shortcuts taken, I would prefer to deliver something to you that is worth your time and your presence. So at least a month would be my ideal. Plus a little more flexibility in the budget to make sure I can make certain that the magic users are in fact as competent as they might claim.
Tell me something. Is there any way... Actually, no, this is a GM question, sorry. Is there any way they can build it here and then we teleport it in? Or does teleportation have a height limit?
You're thinking the teleport spell or teleportation circle?
Teleportation circle.
The teleportation circle has mostly a width limit, and your tower alone is going to be bigger than the width of the circle.
Just trying to think of how to do this.
Logistically, it would not be possible because you'd be essentially teleporting a building onto empty ground with zero foundation. It will crumble.
All right.
You are talking. I need you guys to understand. You are talking about building large buildings, like parts of a town. It's going to take time.
Here's my proposal.
Well, your tower alone should take 3 months build. Standard.
Here's my proposal.
Okay.
We need, addressing my party, we need to bind the house to the material plane if people are going to be able to access it to do work on it.
Just as long as there's some really good locks on our rooms, I'm okay with that.
We do have the arcane lock spell that's been applied. That's why
the architect speaks up. Of course, there's no rush whatsoever. Now that I have you on my radar, I can always make time. Whenever you're ready.
I'm thinking we bind it just outside of Warbury. Allow him to do his work with the help that he needs at a pace that is not going to be breakneck. And we have it tethered for a little bit.
With that being said, we may not be available for the full time to provide all the help we can.
This is also true.
So with that being said...
What can our constructs do to help?
Very simple things. We have 6 constructs on our property that will follow baseline commands.
Yeah, they'll lift and things, but they won't do much.
Oh no, I'm explaining it to him.
He looks at you. Constructs will be very helpful. They will work tirelessly, yes?
Actually, they currently are right now.
More labor is always better. Right. For the heavy lifting.
Right. I believe that this arrangement could work. You can have your month, but we will not be available for more than the next, I would say, day.
Yeah, because we don't want to make you wait.
That's appreciated. With this, Master Architect, is there a preferred blacksmith you use?
It depends on what you need. There are several in the city.
Essentially someone who I might be able to technically replace me and provide you with at least some form of this assistance if he is willing to do so.
There is a general blacksmith who would be able to do such things, potentially, yes. But he has no magic of his own. He does his work by mundane means.
Of course. I can, if you point me in his direction, I may be able to have a conversation and eventually possibly provide the type of magical capability I may have.
Kenna looks at you. Indeed. Well, I can...
Hephaestus does prefer us blacksmiths.
Well, I can see if he would be willing to accept a contract for their work. Of course, it will take me a short amount of time to find all the people and acquire the goods. I do not have them just lying around, as you can see. So if
As
you,
far as the people, would it help if we put up a notice for you, or are you looking for very specific people?
I would want specific people. I do not want unskilled people.
That's fair.
I have my teams that I work with. It's just a matter of assembling them. More the materials.
That's very fair. All right. Are you comfortable with this arrangement, Livin Thurgle?
You and I have the Liv asked Valerica under a little bit more of a hushed tone. You and I have the teleportation circle memorized so we can still get back anytime we need, correct?
Anytime.
Alright, then yeah, I'm fine.
We also have the teleportation circle to Goravia memorized.
Yes. But I feel like that's probably not there anymore.
Teleportation circles are very difficult to remove.
But didn't we just topple the whole city?
A couple falling rocks wouldn't do any damage.
Would we teleport into the rock itself, or would we be above it? That's
Conversations for another time.
the
Alright. I think we've struck an accord. So what is the final timeline and price?
So, and he pulls out another piece of paper. He starts kind of jotting down like figures and numbers and timelines. So you're giving him a month, right?
Maximum of a month, pushing for 3 weeks.
Okay, so 4 weeks. You guys are sitting at bare minimum of 55,000 gold pieces, but if you want it all in 4 weeks without your assistance, he can do it in 4 weeks, but it'll be 80,000. Because he's gonna have to pay for better people and more people,
Even with the constructs helping?
even with the constructs helping. It's not cheap.
I know, but 80,000 is a lot of gold for 4 buildings.
You're paying for time. You're paying essentially overtime or double time. Quick turnaround.
Are we able to pay you for the materials and such now, and then pay the workers upon completion?
Oh, it does not need to be all now. You can arrange a payment plan over time. Of course, now would be easy if you set it aside for coffers in case, of emergency or death. But, material costs would be all that is strictly necessary right now.
And what is the material cost?
For all of this, say 20,000.
We're
Alright.
mostly paying for labor. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
you're mostly paying for the labor at this point. The unrefined materials are not going to be very much, but you're paying for high-level mages and skilled work to essentially work around the clock for a full month. You're paying for like 3 sets of shifts with high-level magic and all that. Doesn't need to be paid immediately, but it'll be paid kind of on a week-to-week basis. So is this coming from your personal funds, or should I credit the family?
Under Thurgle's breath, sometimes it's okay to ask forgiveness.
I'll have to speak to my mother before committing the family coffers.
Well, like I said, no rush. Besides, I'll need a small amount of time to source all the materials and gather my teams.
We will send word to you shortly
I look
with a
forward
more
to it.
committed answer.
Of course, by all means, take as much time as you require. I am here at your service. And he does another deep bow.
And Master Architect, what is the name of that blacksmith that you would choose to use?
Oh, you will find him at Heren's very good blacksmithing. His name is
Thank you.
Heren.
I will pay him a visit.
Such a creative name for that forge.
He's a very straightforward man. Very good at what he does, though.
And if he's willing, better.
And kind of gives a half smile on it. So, I will expect word, yes?
Yes, we will be in touch shortly.
Excellent. Always a pleasure, Countess Valerica. And wonderful to meet both of you friends.
Pleasure.
And I give him like a flickering. I turn my flames on and off as I give this like elaborate curtsy thing, just to basically trying to one up his flamboyant bow.
Okay, fair enough. He goes in for like the even deeper kind of flurry of his cape and deep bow, nose like almost touching the floor at this point. Like it's a little bizarre.
I like it. That's fun.
Okay, so you guys leave, I'm assuming, the architect's office? All right, so.
As we walk out, and I'm going to say, so Valerica, I know you need to check with your mother before we continue with this idea. So, Thurgold, other than seeing this blacksmith, what is it that you need to have happen so that we can get on our way? Because if we can divvy up tasks, we can get that done quicker for you.
I need cannons made. Cannons, black powder, cannonballs. And we need to figure out best way to get to my islands so that we can procure a ship and start asking the fishing villagers. Yes.
Right. So we should be able to get in comfortably through that.
Of course, there are many throughout the islands themselves. It's just where to start is the hard part. Hopefully the message from your mother's couriers will be able to give us a precise location to start. But primarily, I need cannons and black powder.
Okay.
Well, then I guess we're following you to a forge.
Let us go.
Some errands that I can run in the meantime, so we don't burn time here. I know that Selima needed to look for some magical components, as did I. So we will circle back with you later. And we can meet back up at this town hall so we can take a carriage back to the estate.
And what would you say it's about 4 o'clock now after that conversation with the architect?
Yeah, I'd say probably closer to 4, yeah, at this point, for sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's
Frozen. Lost you guys.
we're here.
Again.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
We'll be back.
I would say we should try to aim to meet back around 7 for dinner. That way we don't waste too much time.
Good to me.
All right, let's go get them to do some shite for you.
Sounds good.
All right. So, where are you guys headed first? You're next.
Essentially to the forge that he recommended.
Okay.
I'm following his lead because this is. We became real good buddies on that water plane. So
All right.
he says do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing.
Cool. And Valerica, you're going with and everything?
Going to look for magical components with Selima.
Got it. Okay. So you are both going to magical components. Okay, cool. So you would have 0 trouble navigating this area. What's great is that you would know pretty much where to find the blacksmith. There's 3 blacksmiths in town. They all kind of cluster together. You can kind of point circle and live in that direction. Right. So you're looking specifically for magical components or magical items? Components?
I'm looking for magical components, and the specific ones are the crazy ones that we're looking to find to wake slumbering items.
Right. Okay.
So that would be Let me check. For me, I'm looking for a heart of a fire-immune fiend, a magical core or gland of an ancient fire-breathing dragon. And for Selima, she's looking for... Let me check. Sorry, I'm going through chat logs trying to figure out where it is.
For her weapon, you'd be looking for the core
Core of an air elemental, or infused with the blood of a powerful enemy that's favored by the wielder. So we'd be looking for blood of a powerful fiend that would be immune to slashing damage. Very much needle in a haystack request for both of us.
Hey, that's totally fair.
And then I would also be looking to restock on some material components. Definitely rare chalks for teleportation circle.
Okay.
And I believe that's the only real material component piece that I have.
Okay. Like
I would also probably pick up a few diamonds.
Okay.
Of like considerable value for like greater restoration needs and for revivify.
Okay, perfect. So you've got the Arcanus Tabernus, which you know of, which deals in stranger magical like components, essentially non-item magical things. So it would kind of be your place to go for that. Looking at this, yeah, that'd probably be one of the best places to go for that. Yeah.
So we would make our way over there.
Okay, fantastic. So you kind of head to the center. Your two kind of groups do that thing where you're like, all right, cool, bye, see you later, and then walk in the exact same direction for the longest time. Eventually realizing that you're just walking back to the center of town where the market square is. Until you do eventually kind of split off. Liv and Thurgle, you guys kind of head off to what looks a little more like a craft district where a lot of like crafters, like you've got like tanners and skinners and cobblers and smiths and things are all kind of pushed into one side of the city. And then you kind of head off in a different direction, Valerica and Selima, where you are looking for more kind of, you see more alchemists and, you know, antiques and magical items, you know, the wand shop that you know of. So you do eventually come across the shop. This one, you found this shop one day when you were younger. It is perhaps one of the stranger shops in Warbury. It's kind of tucked behind a bunch of other shops in an alleyway. It's one of those, like, there's a whole bunch of really nice looking shops, and there's this really narrow, like, you can fit maybe like one person at a time kind of alleyway. It's still well maintained and clean, but it's definitely out of the way and a little bit kind of shady. And then you kind of turn and there's this small courtyard, and unlike the very kind of pristine, we can pick you up really well, by the way.
Can you guys go on mute? We just heard a motorcycle rev really loud.
Thanks. Unlike a lot of the kind of the gray stone of this area, it's this kind of dark, almost sooty covered looking kind of speckled stone that's in this area. But you kind of step into it and you can immediately kind of pick up that scent of strange thing, and you walk in and it's very much a blend of like souvenir kind of shop meets like voodoo and witchcraft kind of vibe. You've got like things hanging from the ceiling. You've got like dried animals next to like dried leaves and herbs. You've got bottles filled with things. Definitely see there's like organs stored away in certain parts of the shelves. You can see strange books and scrolls, all kinds of things. And it's dimly lit, almost by like design at this point. Like there's everything here is bright and easy to see. This place is almost deliberately not. And you kind of get this strange smell of like preserved alchemical solutions, this slight acrid scent blending with this weird minty kind of smell that's kind of pervading through everything. It's a really bizarre kind of like, whoa, right, good. Like it's very heady in here. And behind one of the counters, you see the pale, high elven shopkeep. Her bizarrely enough for most elves, her graying hair. See the shopkeep that you've met on a handful of occasions. Imrethin, kind of patiently waiting, her slightly wrinkled hand clasped in front of her.
Man.
Why, young Valerian?
It's good to see you.
Welcome. What can I get for you?
Thank you. I have some rare and interesting inquiries, and I was wondering if you would have them in stock.
Well, by all means. One sec.
Hold on. She's here. She just messaged me asking.
Perfect. So we'll get back to this in a moment. And here she comes.
Because this sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you...
Hey!
Hey, welcome.
Okay, so Cunningham's got to do a bit of reshuffling, so let me catch you up to what's happened. We're in Warbury right now.
Right.
We met with the architect and gave all of our wish list and found out that in order for each of us to get what we really want, it's going to be 80,000 gold, and we're going to have to bind the puzzle box mansion to the material plane for the duration of a month in order for that to get sorted.
Yeah, you twisted his arm into basically taking a 6-month project that should cost several 100,000 gold and doing it for 80,000 in.
It's 4 buildings.
Yeah.
No twisting of arms. He's raking us over the coals.
He kind of is.
It's 4 buildings.
No, he kind of is raking over the coals. It's not that.
Perfect.
So, yeah. We said we'll come back after having some conversations. You and I just departed to go look for magical components, and we just entered the creepiest freaking shop.
Yes,
and Cunningham was doing an awesome job setting it up. So can we just like roll from here? So it's you and me, and the two of them went off.
So but you're familiar with the city as well. You've been here as well. This is the city of the Festival of Adventurers, where you guys met Uther and Thea. However, it is far emptier than it was before. It's still bustling kind of city, it's still lively. But it's a lovely, pristine city. Everything is very, like I had said earlier, it's like by adventurers for adventurers kind of thing. It's very kind of well maintained, very clean. Still a city, so a little uncomfortable for you, but all in all, it's not like the thick, dense unpleasantness of the capital, which is really nice.
Right.
But you guys had kind of parted ways with Liv and Thurgle off to go see a blacksmith about a thing, and you guys decided to go and look for magical components, and passing by every like magic shop, Valerica led you down like this tiny little like single file alleyway to this weird little inset like dark shop, like literally like black speckled stone, like with this little tiny courtyard out front, like hanging like vines, plants and things. And you walked into like drying animal parts and herbs and like bottles of things on the walls, and despite everything being brightly lit, a almost intentionally dimmed
I'm home.
environment with this kind of heady mix of like alchemical smells and herbs and incense and gods know what, like. And then this very old elven woman, kind of graying hair, wrinkled skin, greeting Valerica in a very casual and kind of friendly manner. So let's see if I can get the voice right again. So, Valerica, who is your friend?
This is Selima.
Lovely to meet
Good to
you,
meet you.
silly.
Good to meet you.
So we've come across some rather interesting magical items that seem to be in a slumbering state and require very strange things to awaken them. One of them being a core of an air elemental for the bow that she carries on her back, or if you happen to
And
have
then-
any fiend's blood that was a particularly powerful fiend that's resistant to, that's hardy to slice. All of those things are required for her bow to fully come into its own power. And then for mine, and I'm gonna light my circlet.
Kind of the light that's kind of cast off of it, like, sort of illuminates the surrounding area a little bit. She kind of shies away, just very slightly, trying to keep away from any direct sources of light. Not like suddenly, but just like swiftly, kind of like she's deft at avoiding light. And you
Can
kind
I
of
just make an Arcana check to see if I would know why something would avoid light like this? Like,
Sure,
is
yeah,
it hurting her?
Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely give it a shot. You kind of like.
I mean,
the
does
light...
it look like it's causing her harm?
Make a perception check.
Oh, good.
14.
14.
Mhm.
There are a lot of reasons any number of creatures would avoid light, but she's not giving any indications as far as what you can see of any specific things. Like, your mind instantly goes to all manner of like night-dwelling creatures, you know, vampiric types, any of those, like anything from underground, the Underdark. Like, she looks just like a really
17.
old elf. 17?
17.
It doesn't look like it causes her pain, but it does look like it causes her a small amount of, like, momentary, like, tension. And like, not fear, but like a moment. Yeah.
Don't worry, they're perfectly harmless.
Yes, it's...
So this one requires the... Let me look at my notes. The heart of a fire-immune fiend, or the magical core or gland of an ancient fire-breathing dragon. Color does not matter. Would you happen to have any of those in your shop? And then on the more mundane side, some magical chalk and diamond components.
Well, as for the chalk, easy enough to find. Kind of hand waves, and you see like a box starts floating towards you. Large amounts of chalk.
Mm-hmm.
More than enough for a lot of things. So it's essentially you can buy as much chalk as you feel like you.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go over diamond in a moment. I am sad to say that I don't have any dragon parts. You know how hard they...
Incredibly.
Yeah. Now, as for the core elementals, you need one of fire for yours and one of air for your pets.
Correct.
Yes.
I do not have any fire element essence or moment. Not many people tread on those planes, summon. But there's one in town who may have element essence or two. If you can convince them to part with their assistant.
Oh.
You, Valerica, you're kind of racking your brain at this point, trying to think. And your assistant heir, you do remember that there's a potion master who does in fact keep several air elementals as guards in their shop.
Several, like 6?
Yeah.
Would we have to kill it to get its core?
Yes, you would. You would eat it and then gather it in one of these. And she conjures up this little kind of vial that's just kind of empty. But it looks pristine and far more shiny than glass should.
Is it
enchanted to hold the essence of element? If you could convince her to part with, say, 3, I could take their essence and combine to a core.
So it needs to be 3.
Well, of her. Yeah.
Thanks, Salima.
We can ask. Doesn't hurt to ask. I don't think I met the potion master yet, though.
You haven't.
No, you haven't.
So I don't know their temperament or their demeanor. We can ask.
It's always worth asking.
Still have the issue with trying to get your stuff, though.
Stuff I feel will come in time. But bad feeling we have a dragon in our future. So I can take my pickings and collect then.
As for the diamond, another
Yes.
kind of hand wave and a box slides into place. She opens it and there's little sections of a variety of diamonds of different sizes and what do you seek, young Tess?
Salima, you know more about medicine than I do. What type of diamonds do we need for things like revivify and restoration magic?
Good question. Do I know exactly what we need?
You'd have an idea, yeah. I'd say you guys, Valerica, you spent enough time around magic to kind of surmise, and yeah, you'd have a good kind of understanding, both of you. You've been around enough.
I mean, I have whatever skills I've got that I've obtained over
Yeah.
a period of time as well. So if I know roughly what we need.
Yeah, so what are you guys looking for? Revivify is, I think, 300 gold diamond?
Is it? I think
Yeah.
it is. Probably. How many of those would we need? 2?
I have 3 in the house.
I also got 3 scrolls.
So it's not an urgent need right now. But I will take 500 gold worth of chalk.
500 gold worth of chalk?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. Yeah. She kind of waves, separates several of the pieces of chalk out for you.
Perfect.
I'm actually also in the market for a small silver mirror.
Of what quality?
Small and silver.
Small and silver. What's it for?
Mm-hmm. Sanctuary.
Oh, sanctuary? Oh yeah. Yeah.
All
there
it
you go.
says is
Oh, it's just a
small silver
mirror.
mirror. Mhm.
Yeah, it should be easy to find.
Fantastic.
Yeah. She kind of waves a hand after squinting at you, and a small mirror just kind of floats onto the countertop. Anything else? The diamonds.
Let's take 3 of the 100 gold diamonds for greater restoration, because I believe that's the cost.
Yeah, of diamond dust. Yeah. So.
Diamond dust, so I'll ask for that.
All right. She kind of waves, and you see a couple of small pouches of dust just settle onto the countertop. Okay. Looking for anything else, or is that it? You good?
Do you have anything else of interest?
Anything else of interest? I may have a few potions I've picked up, mostly crafting component material. So,
Potions do you have in stock?
oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
It's very dusty in here.
Yeah, it is.
Quite.
Oh. All right, let me.
But not unpleasant.
Yeah, let me pull it up. All right. First stat right now.
Stats? We're not gonna combat, man.
It's funny. No, her
What's her AC?
27.
No, not a fireball here. Hold on.
Yeah, seriously, I
There's
wouldn't want
explosive
to.
components. Hold on.
Right?
I would not want to challenge any of the NPCs in this town because they're all retired adventurers. These people are gonna be like looking all meek and coming in at like level 20.
Yeah, no, actually a lot of these are retired adventurers. Actually, you would straight up know that a
We
lot
would
of
die.
these people not that high level, to be absolutely honest.
But well
Most
versed
people-
enough.
But smart. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
And
most of
that's
the
the-
NPCs here are about our level.
Yeah, I'd say probably sitting around level 11 at the very least. Yeah. I mean, she's just freaking hand waving for things to work, and you're not entirely sure how.
Mage hand. It's always
Possibly,
mage hand.
or unseen servant, or telekinesis, or something. Whatever it is, it's easy.
Yep.
She kind of waves another hand, and several bottles all just kind of start coming off the shelves and floating. She holds up. She sets them off into like kind of groups. You do see quite a number of potions of healing.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly high level ones like Raider and Superior, Supreme.
Supreme.
Yeah, Supreme too. You see a couple that you don't necessarily recognize. She kind of holds some of. She says, "This will give you a little extra meat on your bone, vitality, and will cure you fatigue during your adventure. Also excellent for poison." You can kind
I'm
of see
sure.
that it's this kind of red wood that, like, as you're kind of focusing on it, there's this very dim kind of light in it that's like kind of pulsing, almost like a heartbeat.
Do I know what this is?
Make an Arcana check.
Just roll another freaking 7. Okay, rolling now. Hey, that's a nat 20!
Nice.
27.
You recognize this. You've seen it a couple of times. It is a potion of vitality. So it will remove any exhaustion that you're suffering from. It will also cure any disease or poison affecting you. And for the next 24 hours, anytime you roll hit dice, you gain the maximum number of hit points from those hit dice. So like you don't even have to roll them. You just get your hit dice back. Yeah.
How much is this potion?
You see there's 3 of them. These would be... price...
Because I'm literally in my town.
Yeah. And you got a relationship. Prices are different between you and...
I'm expecting that.
These would be 750 gold each.
Okay. I definitely want to take one of those.
Definitely want one? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and add a potion of vitality and just deduct 750 gold.
Okay. I've been deducting the rest of it as well.
Perfect. She holds up another kind of potion. It's got this kind of like dark silvery quality to it. It looks you've worked around Thurgle enough. It looks kind of like iron, like molten iron. Not glowing hot, just kind of like molten liquefied. This will provide you with resistance to damage of all kinds for a short time.
How long?
A minute.
And how much does that cost?
The potion of invulnerability? 3,000.
I don't have a need for that one now, but I will definitely keep it in mind.
Hands waves and just immediately flies back on one of the shelves. Very well. Perhaps. She holds up this kind of purplish liquid, and you can see this small little pink egg-shaped kind of cloudy something floating around. This will allow you lots of time. Yes.
Salima, what about you?
Define others. How specific on others is it? Is it humanoid based, beast?
Let me double check the spell.
Because reading a dragon's mind would be very interesting.
Any intelligent creature, it will impart to you the detect thoughts spell.
Dragon falls into that category.
Yep.
Decidedly.
Yep. It does.
I'd be curious to know the price.
150 gold. There's 2 of them.
I'll take one.
Okay. You can go ahead and add a potion of mind reading.
And you said 150, right?
150, yeah.
Fantastic. Do that. Right by 150.
She pulls out one more potion. Kind of this clear liquid that is floating in the bottle. Where there would usually be like a little air pocket on top. The air pocket is on. And you can kind of see like little like speckles of things kind of floating in it. This will allow you to fly for a short.
How long?
An hour.
How much is that one?
This would be 400.
Take it.
Excellent. Adds it to your list of things. Gladly takes your gold. So go ahead and add a potion of flying. Potion master's gonna be so pissed.
The potion master?
Not only are you gonna try to take away her elementals, you're also buying potions from someone else. It's really funny.
Selima doesn't spend very much. Her meager things by the day consist mostly of jerky.
No, you're fair. That's fair.
I mean, my biggest purchase was my cloak.
Fair. Fair. Is there anything else you...
Don't think so.
Well, she looks out both of her hands, potions fly back to their spaces. Everything else just kind of moves back to where it was.
Cool.
Will you be bringing those elementals?
We're gonna go have a negotiation and see how it goes. And we'll be in touch.
And I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Always.
And good to as well. Friend.
Wonderful to meet you. Thank you. Very intriguing shop.
I try. You guys leaving? Okay, cool.
We're gonna make our way over to, I guess, the alchemist person and try to strike a bargain with them.
Okay, sounds good. So,
DM question in
Yo.
just 1 second. So I have a herbalism kit and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What can I exactly do with that? Am I able to collect herbs and use them to maybe deal with poisons or food-based problems?
so with an herbalism kit, you could, it would essentially allow you to, wait. Suddenly my brain is not working. It would allow you to harvest herbs and other things for use in things like potions and poultices and salves and that kind of thing. It would also allow you to kind of like identify certain things. Kind of got like this little codex and compendium that comes with it. As far as like making certain items, you would require like either like an alchemist's table or alchemist supplies. But it would let you treat some diseases to some degree if you had the right herbs and stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
illnesses.
just curious. Because I would be in the market for some things like that, just in case.
Okay. Yeah. There's definitely there's definitely an alchemist and an herbalist in town for sure. Like Alarica would exactly where.
Okay.
Like not. Yeah. Cool. So you guys are gonna head over that way. Yeah. I will also say that an herbalism kit is something that is required. Like you need proficiency if you're gonna do any crafting of like potions of healing or any.
I do have it as my tools.
Yeah, perfect.
So I don't know
you've
what I
got
have as far
proficiency in
as.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I have that and other things.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so meanwhile, Liv and Thurgle, you guys cut through the market kind of plaza. Wonderful sights and smells. You do come eventually to, you can see a couple of, like I said before, more kind of crafting merchants and things. There are 3 smiths, kind of different little, they're close proximity, kind of forming this little triangle of blacksmithing. You see on the one side is decidedly an armor smith, kind of like heavy like plates and studs and you know, chain mail. You kind of see this really kind of heavily kind of spiked suit of armor, kind of just like floating in place almost right outside. your time and experience, it's definitely animated armor that's acting as a guard for the shop.
Cool.
Probably more than just this is animated at this point, but this is what you can see. That is Shazu's amazing armaments. And then looking on the other side, you see a blacksmith, a halfling blacksmith working away at a variety of weapons, spears, arrowheads, swords, hammers, axes, pretty much any weapon. And you can see a couple of floating weapons nearby. You would also know those are animated weapons, acting as guards. And this is Rain and Thelda's arms. And then at the... What's that?
I would say Liv's gonna lean over to Thurgle and be like, I'm leaving with one of them floating weapons today.
Good luck, they're not cheap.
It's really funny. Okay, and then kind of straight ahead, you see a blacksmith that has none of the kind of flair or accoutrements. Kind of this bigger, like, heavier set kind of guard-looking individual just kind of there, while a human, literally the most generic human being you've ever seen, kind of the slightly balding, large mustached blacksmith, thick, heavy apron, and above it, in none of the ostentatiousness of the other signs of Rain and Thelda's arms with the great like filigree, and then Shazu's amazing armaments in like this fantastic like swirling font. You've got just in plain block text, Heren's very good blacksmithing.
I think this is the place.
Yeah, something tells me the two of you are gonna get along just fine.
So I'm going to enter the blacksmith.
Okay, sounds good. You look around, and it's mostly a utility blacksmith. It is horseshoes, it's nails, it's hinges, it's pretty much all of the things that most blacksmiths do. Not all of them are weapon or armor smiths. Most blacksmiths make mundane items day in, day out. They're the ones who make the tools to make, so other people can make cool stuff. But like you can see like rivets and studs and sheets and plates and all kinds of very familiar but very simple things. Some are on display, some have like prices on them kind of there. And there's a big old sign. It's like the one thing that kind of stands out as having any type of flair is this like heavily branded sign that simply says no negotiations. No haggling. No discounts.
I'll see about that.
All right.
Hello, good sir.
Hello. Kind of looks up and dusts his hands off. What can I do for you?
I came to you with a recommendation from an associate about your blacksmithing skill.
Kind of gets this kind of smirk on his face. I'm not surprised. I'm very good at what I do.
Have you ever considered increasing your skill or abilities?
Good sir, I think I am quite happy with where I'm at.
That is fair, understandable. Most people can be, but there is an option if you're interested, and I would like to present you with that option, if you may. This recommendation comes from the architect, and he may be looking for hiring of some assistants from any of the blacksmiths in this area. And so I was wanting to ensure you possibly getting that job by giving you some insight, if you will.
He kind of squints at you for a moment. I'm all for good, honest work, so if your insight has anything to do with cutting corners or any of that fancy schmancy magic stuff, I am not interested, sir.
It is magic, but it comes from the god of the forge himself, Hephaestus. So, in essence, he's just bringing out your inner capabilities.
I've never heard of such a god. I don't much pay attention to the whims of those beings. They tend to cause more
Complicate life?
problems, more than they should.
Yes, of course. And that is what makes Hephaestus great. He does not give a shit about anything else. He helps you with the forge, and you get to have a good life.
I trust him even less then. Nobody is that altruistic.
You know, I like this man.
I figured you would.
Any god worth his salt would demand something in return.
Well, essentially, that would be the dedication to his being, but that's completely up to you. If you want to believe in it, he will grant you the power. If not, you can continue doing the fine work you do.
Kind of looks for a second. You kind of
Let me pull it this way. Is there a project that you're working on that you need help with?
No. I believe a man should stand on his own 2 feet.
Perfect. Is there a tool you need?
Kind of looks around. I have my hands and I have my hammer, and if my hammer breaks, I make another.
It reminds me of a friend I had once. His name was Ronald Swanson. Very good person.
Good strong name.
Definitely. Big mustache, like caterpillar.
Like mine.
Very much so. So, with that being said, is there any repairs, or would you like a special customized weapon of your sorts?
Sir, I'm confused. You said you had a job for me. Are you asking for a job yourself?
I'm asking you to essentially see the power of Hephaestus. So if there is something that you would like, I can make it for you and show you what it is capable of.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion check. I'm not persuasive at all.
While he's doing this,
Yeah.
hold on. Make sure I'm making the right choice here.
Yeah, exactly what I thought.
With the suggestion, if I fail, do they know that I tried to cast a spell on them?
With suggestion?
Yeah.
I believe so. Let me double check.
I'm trying to find it.
Suggestion. Let's see. Nope, doesn't say anything. No.
Let's try. While he's been asking these questions, at this point, I'm like, this man's fucking stubborn. So I'm going to very, very, like, under my breath, like, use the Force style, cast suggestion on the blacksmith.
Okay.
With the attempted command of, you like what Thurgle says, you will try what Thurgle says.
Okay. All right. So, just gotta make a save.
Yes.
Okay. And what's your save DC?
For this one, you need to hit Wisdom 16.
Yeah, he succeeds. He rolled a natural 16. You don't even know
That's
how
right.
powerful his will is. He kind of looks at you as you say your suggestion. I'll hear him out, but I'm not going to do anything about it just yet.
And that is perfectly fine. I just want to show you what Hephaestus is capable of and how it may produce fine quality items at will.
All right. So what was your persuasion check?
It was a 4.
Was it 4?
Yeah, I have no persuasion capabilities.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna try one more thing here.
Okay.
Because he said when a tool breaks, he will make another one with his own 2 hands. So I'm going to cast Unseen Servant again, like trying to like use the force and be like, and I'm going to tell my Unseen Servant to go and break the nearest most important looking tool.
Make a stealth check.
Okay.
Because that's a complicated spell. That's a full verbal, somatic, and material component spell. Like, that's a lot. It's really funny.
Going to be a 23.
Okay, he doesn't seem to notice. You see off of like one corner, you see a pair of tongs get lifted and then separated into 2 parts, and then just clink onto the ground. He kind of looks back. I would thank you not to use magic in my establishment.
I haven't.
He kind of looks back to you, Thurgle. I'm talking to the one with red hair.
Thought you might need a little incentive to see his work.
You feel this kind of heavy hand on your shoulder. Liv. And you look behind you and you see the really big kind of heavy set guard that was standing outside. Is there a problem here?
No, but my stoat might bite you if you keep your hand there for too long.
The blacksmith, Heren, looks, he says, "Thank you, Tom. It's all right. I've got it." Kind of, see the big guy kind of like gives a nod. Kind of glares at both of you and goes back to his watch. Well, why don't you show me what this Festus you said? I'd like to see what he can do. I enjoy a good show. But no
Of course.
guarantees.
A show! Would you like some music to go along with this,
Oh,
Thurgle?
God.
It might help the time pass.
3rd persuasion attempt.
No, so I'm going to be sitting here like Miguel from El Dorado and like
getting like super intense about it.
Awesome.
So at this point, I am going to use my channel divinity for Artisan's Blessing
Okay.
to make those tongs look the most absolute pristine, and even have the same type of branding that he put on the sign to have his name on like the handle.
It's very fine blacksmithing down the side.
Exactly.
So he kind of takes it, he looks it over. Kind of see a little tiny like glint of light in one eye. Say, I'll be damned if that's not one of the beautiful tools I've ever seen. Still don't care much for magic, though.
Fair. But I do know if you were willing to accept Hephaestus, he would be able to grant you this power, and he would make your ability to essentially make this from scrap. You would not need large ingots of any type of metal. You could take literally pieces of raw material and make it into what you need.
And it looks. Go ahead and roll one more persuasion check with advantage.
Fuck me. 11.
11? Okay.
Yes, I'm
He
not
looks
very
it over. He looks at you. He looks at Liv. Kind of gets like this slight smile to his face. Kind of squints his eyes. I'll consider it.
Of course. At any point, please pass the message on to the architect, and I will be in touch with you if you would so like. In the meantime, I just lost my train of thought.
He needs a job from us. That's what we came here for.
Yes. How capable are you at? Oh, I don't even know how to essentially say this.
You make lots of shite. Are you capable of making an entire forge from the ground up?
Kind of gets this much bigger smile.
I got you, buddy.
No, that wasn't my question, but that was one of them.
Well, my skills do not include masonry, but I can absolutely take care of everything else for you.
Oh, don't worry. We have the masons to provide you that part of the service.
Is that the job with that architect?
Correct.
You'll also have the opportunity to be traveling to a different plane of existence to make it happen. It's going to be quite fun.
Well, now that sounds too fancy for me. Like my good old
Aye,
plane
we
right
will.
here.
You'll be well compensated for it.
I'll hear what the architect has to say. He'll
That
hash
is
out
fair.
the details of the job.
On another note, do you have any apprentice or apprentices?
I do.
Because I might have a request that may take some time and some assistance if you have the ability to do so. I need the ability to have some assistance in the reproduction.
Not what you think. I know how that sounded. Not that kind of reproduction.
I do not understand.
I know you don't, Circle. The humans are talking right now, okay?
Okay. He kind of looks and cocks an eyebrow at you. Then has like this kind of expectant look on his face. What kinds of reproduction?
It is a specific item that I have created that is very proprietary. And if I am to share this information, essentially it could mean either very big financial gain for you, but then also it could mean that if you do bad things with it, I will come back and murder you. No intimidation, I'm just telling facts.
He looks at you. See now. I like you a lot better when you're a straight shooter.
Speaking
Alright.
of straight shooting, that's kind of the project.
Precisely.
Kind of looks. Color me intrigued. What's this project?
It is a production of multiple cylinders. These cylinders have the ability to control explosions.
It'll be right up your alley as basically a non-magical fireball. It's quite fun.
Kind of see. You got decent insight, kind of both of you. Kind of see a little glint of interest in his eyes as you say, kind of like a non-magical fireball. You get the sense he's not a huge fan of magic at all. But the idea of beating it at its own game with bane means sounds very interesting. teach those mages to think they can bend reality. So, let's talk more of the details of the project.
Perfect. But before we really get into details, essentially what I'm going to give you will give you an edge on most magic people and ability to fortify a lot of different locations. So in essence, for giving you this information, I would expect essentially the production of a specific amount for essentially free, since you will be able to produce this at any point.
And nods his head.
And aside from me, you will be the only one who knows how to produce this.
He kind of nods a little bit. Tom. Hi. We're closing for a little bit. He just goes right back to what he was doing before. Nothing has changed about this man. like, nothing changed. And then you see Heren kind of look at you and kind of incline his head. Come with me to my office.
Lead the way.
Okay. So, spend the next hour or so kind of explaining the concepts and hashing out the finer details. Just for
Are you
funsies.
giving him your original blueprints, or would you like me to make copies for him?
Of course, copies.
I'm gonna start sketching out copies of the blueprints and everything.
Okay. Just for funsies, go ahead and make 3 checks for me. Make 1 persuasion, 1 religion, and 1 intimidation.
All right. Well, persuasion is 18 for persuasion.
Okay.
And you said religion and
Intimidation.
Intimidation.
19 for religion.
Nice. Rolling well. I love it.
Come on.
18 for intimidation.
Yeah,
18,
18.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. All right. Very cool.
My previous rolls were saving it. They're like, no,
Totally.
he needs it later.
Totally. Okay. After some time, you can see he's very impressed by this. He pulls in one of his apprentices, and both of them kind of look it over together. Look over some of the schematics, and talk amongst themselves. Eventually, kind of hash out the idea of he'll make these for you in exchange for the information. He'll be willing to make a few of them. It'll take time because they're large and it's a lot of materials, so they're not going to be quick the way that you can make them. But he's willing for exclusive rights to this knowledge. Essentially, he wants only you and him to be able to make these things. He's willing to do it for you.
For exclusive rights, I would need you to be able to essentially produce this at will. If I'm not able to, I would like to be able to put in orders at any time.
I think that's fair.
Then we have ourselves a deal. Thurgle extends his hand up towards him.
Get a big, heavy, calloused hand. Literal decades of this guy work on the forge. Just this heavy, strong, calloused handshake.
And while this is happening, because of being from a more noble background and knowing how people will tend to try and weasel out of things,
Sure.
Liv starts drawing up a contract that includes that if the apprentices leak any of the knowledge, that we will come back and fuck their shit up pretty damn hard.
They will be encased in iron and heat to
And then
death.
I pass it over to Thurgle and I go, here's an NDA if you want.
Perfect. I pull out my knife, cut my thumb, and print it.
Okay.
Your sir. A deal best sealed in blood.
Out of curiosity, are either of you wearing the Indrik insignias you have?
No.
I had not
No?
put mine on.
Okay. Just curious.
We got back and I was asleep and then we left, so I had
Fair
not
enough.
put mine on.
Fair enough. Okay. Gotta remember to ask you guys that at the beginning of the day. Okay, he looks. He takes a knife that he's got, cuts a little bit, presses it on the contract. Normally I'd say that my word is good enough, but I want to make sure you're accountable too.
Precisely.
And
I trust
besides,
you.
my apprentices were to leak any of this, you'd be hard pressed to find anything left to, as you say, fuck up.
If you were a dwarf, I would have hoped you've been on my ship and served with me.
Thank you. A little confused by that one, but acknowledges a compliment when he sees it.
I appreciate it.
So, did you want to buy anything while you were here?
At this point, not really, no.
So you say he makes like all like the random little mundane things, right?
Yeah.
So as a gesture of goodwill, because Liv's not so great with social cues of other cultures,
Sure.
and kind of like overstepped her bounds there a little bit.
Sure.
She's gonna try and make it up to the man. Has he made any sort of like little animal collars so that she could get like a little thing for her Freckles as like, I don't know, some stupid decorative piece that's not armor that I could go get next door?
Little Freckles breastplate.
He looks at you, looks at your stoat. Says, I'll make something. And he pulls out like this little billet of metal and starts just hammering away. And it ends up just being this like, it's basically a manacle. It looks good. Like he does good work, but and he's fast. But it's like this little metal like choker around Sprinkles.
Freckles.
Probably a silver piece.
All right, and I toss it over to him.
All right. Now, so he's got Sprinkles has a solid iron collar.
Freckles.
The name is Freckles.
Freckles?
Not
What did I say?
Sprinkles.
Sprinkles? My
Freckles.
bad.
Freckles is sitting like,
Freckles, not
Walking with
Sprinkles.
his head dragging across the ground.
Freckles isn't what Freckles sits on my shoulders.
Freckles, right? Freckles.
I thank you very
Sign
much.
of the
And,
Sorry, go ahead.
that does conclude our transition or our transaction, not transition,
Okay.
for today. And I look forward to hearing from you and working on my personal forge.
I'll make sure the best work is done on it.
I appreciate it.
He just kind of gives a nod and then immediately gets back to work, like working on something. Not sure yet. What yet?
And as we're walking away, and let me know if you're willing to accept Hephaestus.
He kind of holds up a hand. And doesn't confirm or deny either way.
Hephaestus be with you. And then walks out.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay.
Do you want to stop by the animated knives? Let's go.
Okay, so you're gonna stop by the. That's really funny. All right,
The
so-
weapons.
Yep, animated weapons. All right, so you guys go. It's a short little walk. But you see working one of the forges there, a male halfling, kind of black hair, full bushy beard, bushy eyebrows, like little tiny beady eyes. And the sign overhead says Rain and Thelda's arms. Hi, can I help you?
What?
I noticed you got all this flashy things around out here. Is that just for fun, or do they actually do anything other than float?
They'll they'll attack too.
So, like, I don't have to hold it, and it'll do what it's supposed to do, is what you're telling me.
That's what they're made for.
All right, and looking around the shop, so Liv is proficient with simple weapons. What does she see around the shop that would intrigue her that she could actually use?
As far as oof, sorry, loud number of sounds. As far as items, it's mostly weapons. Or it's all weapons rather, varying kinds. And I will tell you what's available. A lot of mundane weapons, like just tons of mundane things. But he does seem to have a couple of finer looking items. That look like they've been kind of inscribed a little bit, probably enchanted with some kind of magic. There is, let's see, there's a couple of long swords. There is a kind of a fancy looking rapier with like a little wing crossguard. There's a light hammer, couple javelins, daggers. Anything in particular you're looking for?
I do need to replenish some daggers. That I threw quite a few across the last few sessions.
Okay.
I think I only have one left.
Just standard daggers?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's easy enough to find 2 gold pieces each, so however many you want.
I'll grab 10.
10? Yeah, he's got 10.
Alright, sorry, you said it was 2 gold pieces each?
2 gold each, yeah. So yeah, you go ahead and grab a couple daggers. Kind of looking around. Some of the stuff looks really great. He's trying to look at you. The flying weapons catch your eye too.
What do you have that would match my outfit? And I turn on my flames again.
Kind of looks around. And looks at some of his items. Well, I got this one here. He pulls out a short sword. Can't show you because got attuned to it, but you activate it and burst into flames.
You know what? I think that would be perfect. How much would that put me out?
For that one, that is a flame tongue longsword. 5,000 gold pieces.
5,000 gold pieces, and all it does is burst into flame?
Does fire damage too?
It does. Oh, see, now we're talking, friend. Now we're talking. You know, that being said, though,
I do have one of those flying weapons.
I'd be willing to help you. I'd love to help you get some better business in here. You see my friend here, Thurgle? He is a forge cleric of Hephaestus. Have you heard of Hephaestus?
I have.
Oh, that's one that's actually heard of him. That doesn't happen often.
Not very, but some that are fairly educated, no.
So I'd be willing to make you a little bit of a deal here, because this one can help you produce better materials and better weaponry through learning of Hephaestus. So if I were to, let him spend a little time with you and improve all of your inventory so that you can make a better profit for the rest of your days, what would you say to 3,500 gold pieces for that flaming sword?
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Swear to God, if this goes like the last time I tried to make a persuasion.
It's really funny.
Because I have a plus 12, guys, so, like, there's really no reason. Okay, it's gonna be a 22.
22. Okay.
She's very persuasive.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Give me a sec. I'm looking at Thurgold's characters fast. There we go. You got no... Alright, nothing fast. Got it. Okay, cool. He kind of looks at you. Well, I don't know how Kier would feel about you trying to poach his followers. But, you admire the guts.
The god of their armor says.
God.
Let's put it this way. If Kier and Hephaestus work together, you might be a unique producer of items.
Kier already grants me the blessing of the forge.
Perfect.
So, yeah, me and that one over there kind of indicates you see a male dragonborn over there. Both of us. He looks over at Heren and says, that's the only yokel who doesn't want it.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, me and Shazu over there, Kier's taking pretty good care of us. So, you want the fire sword or you want the flying sword?
Yeah, no, I might have to sleep on it. I'll get back to you.
Don't want to hear what the flying sword costs?
Nope.
Alright.
As we leave, I lean over to Thurgle and I'm like, the one time I tried to use your god, it's fucking useless.
It might help if you actually believed in him.
Oh.
Liv rolls her eyes and just keeps walking.
As you're walking, make a perception check.
My passive perception is 17. If
Yeah,
that
oh, it
makes
is?
sense.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You notice...
And my passive is 16.
Okay, alright, yeah, both of you notice kind of floating behind Liv is the rapier with the wings kind of floating. Blade kind of pointed down.
Freckles is going to lean off of my shoulder and like swat at it.
It just kind of moves. And you hear the smith in the background. Sure you don't want it?
Give me a better price and I might come back.
For the dancing one, 2,000.
I keep walking.
Alright.
Make your butcher forge.
Is that your negotiation tactic?
I told him I would think about it and come back. He's being a pushy salesman and Liv does not like that. She got no patience. She had no patience for that.
Fair enough. You watch as it kind of floats back. Alright. You don't get pushed anymore.
Dude, Liv has no patience for literally anything. She's the most impatient character I've ever seen.
Yes. That is accurate.
Fair enough. Alright. So, I say at about this time, you both see Selima and Valerica kind of going into a potion shop, kind of on the other side of the marketplace. You guys are free to follow or not. You guys have anything you'd like to do in particular? Colorful cast of characters.
So did you happen to notice where the alchemist was?
Did I say that when I was watching while we were traveling?
Yeah, it's right next to the potion shop.
It's right next to the potion shop.
You got
And
a
the
potion
herbalist.
shop, an alchemist, and an herbalist just all kind of sitting next to each other.
It's that way.
Let us go to alchemist. Maybe we may be able to provide them with a recipe of disaster if we know.
Oh no.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you need your gunpowder.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So
you're heading
we're
over there?
proceed to alchemist.
All right. So in the meantime, Valerica and Selena. We'll add things in post, I guess. You both walk up to the potion master. It is Anna's Concoctions. Nice kind of swirly script. And you walk in, and the air is surprisingly, for being a potions master, you would expect a little hint of something on the air. But it's surprisingly clean. And then you see posted in the four corners several air elementals just kind of swirling in place. But then rows and rows of potions, concoctions, elixirs, oils, all kinds of things. And you see behind the countertop, you see a very tall, for a human, very, very tall woman. Kind of lighter hair, lighter eyes, wearing kind of a light frock and an apron with a couple of kind of heavy stains. You see a workstation behind her full of like alembics and beakers and pots and all manner of cooking material. See an open window and there's another air elemental that's just gently blowing fumes out of the window.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you?
I have a bit of a strange request.
Oh?
Yes. Forgive the intrusion, but would you be willing to part with any of your air elementals?
Kind of looks at you for a second. I don't think you're in the right shop. I sell potions.
I understand. And as I said, it is a strange request.
I'd certainly say it is. I've never had one ask to take one of my guards before.
Yes. I understand. It's a far-fetched idea, but we were interested in seeing if you would be willing to barter or perhaps a purchase or a favor.
And you want my elemental?
I would like 3.
Just 3.
I kind of looks at you like this is the most baffling conversation she's had all week.
Harvesting components.
She kind of looks at you with this look of disgust on her face,
I apologize if this offends you, but I value honesty and transparency when I can afford it. And it is important for you to know exactly what type of deal you're getting into.
Well, I appreciate your honesty, but didn't Imrethin have anything like this?
Nope, she sent us to you.
Of course she did. Bitch. Well.
If they are... I have no idea what your relationship is with them. I can't say that I'm not familiar with elementals. If they are sentient and you have a sentimental attachment, I completely understand. If this is a brazen request, please let me know.
She looks... You saw Sparks out, right?
Mm-hmm.
She looks at Sparks, her eyes just fall right onto him. And if I were to ask you to give me him, how would you feel?
He would come back to me. He is not what he appears.
Well, question stands. He is a beloved creature of yours, yes?
Yes.
And they are of mine. She looks gets this immediately softer appearance on her face.
I see. It's a bitter question to ask,
It is.
but I respect your declining.
For what purpose? I ask. Do you need their essence?
Long ago, we came across
So
very. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
I was going to be pretty blunt about it.
I
but
don't care who answers.
It was
just-
Long ago, we came across very powerful magical items left behind by the Ingrivar dynasty, and in doing research and understanding more about them, they require donations of very specific nature to be fully awakened. And the donations for this lovely bow that she is carrying happens to be the core of an air elemental.
The tiny bow.
Did you not like it? It's the same color.
No, I love it. It's great. It's just tiny bow. Canon.
Yeah, this
That's how big Zephyr actually is.
You know what? I accept this in my life. Although it'll be kind of strange because I do believe it says longbow, but
It is a long bow.
She looks at you,
close
both
enough.
of you. Never was one to trifle in the mysteries of the dynasty. But it seems their cruelty knows no bounds.
Hmm.
I do.
Believe me, it's not our intention to offend you.
Or to cause you pain. Simply to understand where the boundaries lie.
Roll persuasion check for me.
Which one?
Either one.
Can I roll with advantage?
Sure.
It's not deigned to happen. 14.
14. Okay. Well, you can't have any of my elemental,
Understood.
but I have some extra essence. Keep a stock. Case. I would be willing to part with some. For a price, obviously.
I'm sorry, when you say essence, are you referring to cores of air elementals?
Oh goodness, no, I don't have any of those. But combine enough and it will look the same. You need 3 cores,
No, I need 1 core.
so 3 essence.
Okay. I'm not well versed in elemental anatomy.
I see.
Do I have any knowledge at all? To some degree.
Roll an Arcana check?
Oh God.
This would be Arcana, not like.
This is Arcana.
Oh, okay. I
They're
figured it
magical
was.
beings.
That's 18.
18? It sounds about right.
All right. Cool.
17 for me. Alright, cool.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. You would have some understanding that creatures of kind of pure elemental magic tend to exist with the essence of the plane that they're from.
Mhm.
The stronger ones are more like coalesced versions, where essentially the combined power of several have merged into a single, and they're usually more intelligent, more powerful. You know, have more of a measure of kind of wisdom and personality sometimes. It's like a condensed kind of form of the same magical essence stuff that they're made of. If it's actually 3, you have no idea. But people keep saying 3, so that works. It's consistent, at least.
3 enough. Alright. And how much would that. What do you want for it?
Well, you're not planning on binding. So it'll save some cost. But I will require at very least 5,000 for the. It will take me some time to require others. I need to make any emergency purchases for the binding. I'll need that.
How about 4,000 and a potion of vitality?
Kind of looks at you. Roll another persuasion check.
That is a better roll.
Yeah.
That is a 25.
25? 45. And the potion. Then you get your essence.
I'm going to lean into Valerica and say, I have an Amulet of Health. If you want to try to use that to sweeten the deal with her.
Would you be interested in an Amulet of Health?
No deal in amulet.
Understood. Right. I think this will do.
Wait here a moment. She goes kind of around the counter up into a door, which you can see is a stairway kind of leading up, and you can hear her kind of walking around upstairs.
You think she's gonna bring us that jar? Should we have bought the jar before we left the other place?
Well, if she has the essences herself, she has the containment for them.
She has to, right? Okay.
And I have over 1,000 gold. Do you want me to chip in the... I have 1,006. Do you want me to chip in the 1,000?
Have you chip in 1,000, I'll cover the rest.
Alright.
Okay. A few minutes pass. And you hear the kind of up the stairs as she comes down, and she carries a small little like leather pouch, kind of a square, rectangular kind of shaped thing. And she goes back to the counter, places it down. 3 essences, better element.
And here is your potion and the gold.
Thank you. Kind of looks at it.
Are you comfortable with this trade?
Me?
Yes.
She doesn't even look at the gold. She looks at the potion, looks at it. This is one of Mrethen's? Yes?
It might be.
I know the handwriting of the rhetorical question. I've wanted to get my hands on this potion. Yeah.
Really?
Quite alright with it, yeah.
And why?
Very closely guarded secrets.
Interesting.
She's really the only rival potion I have here.
Well, I hope it brings you good fortune.
Thank you. I hope so too.
And you did not get it from me.
Of course not. Any manner of adventurers come in all numbers too. Speaking of, would you like anything else?
Do you have anything interesting?
She kind of looks at you. I may. Pull up what she has.
Go find her stats. Level 30.
400. Potion maker class.
She holding any lessons?
Looks at both of you. I have one that wouldn't interest you much. One that might interest you. Kind of walks over to one of the shelves. Pulls off a potion. You can see this kind of like amber, this kind of like tincture bottle. It's this kind of like amberish liquid, and it looks foul. Inside is this little scorpion's tail that's kind of floating, little kind of fang, like a dead spider, a little heart. It's kind of just like kind of still beating against all reason. And she says, well, you want to live longer?
Who is this addressed to? Selima?
Valerica.
Oh. Longer than?
Longer than human span would allow.
Tell me more.
Drink this. Have a decade or so taken.
Arcana check just to see if I actually know of what this
Sure.
is.
Good.
14.
14. You've heard of these kinds of things before? Sounds kind of like a potion of longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of extends or reduces the physical age of the person who drinks it.
Indefinitely? Like permanently removal?
Hmm?
Permanently removes
It'll just
age off you.
slough fears right off. It'll just reduce you down.
Maybe once these traumas have come back to change the way my face looks, I'll stop by and ask for exactly that.
So, everyone comes and buys one eventually.
I'm sure. But I would rather not look like a child.
Oh, it won't age you below 13.
I would rather not look 13. I'm quite fond of my body, thank you.
Fair enough.
Allow me to see a few more birthdays and I'll come back.
Take all the time you have. I'll have more waiting. And of course, looking at both of you, seem to get into a bit of a scuffle. I have plenty of healing potions if you'd like as well.
At the moment, we're stocked, thank you.
Oh.
You don't happen to have any potion of true polymorph, do you?
Potion of true polymorph? I'm frankly not even sure that's a thing. She kind of looks at you.
The thing?
Not.
I'm asking her.
She looks at you.
She's like, it's not a thing.
She looks at you. I've never heard of such a thing. Sounds more along the lines of a scroll rights work.
Well,
But if you do find a way, let me know.
I will.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, if you need anything, you know where to find me. Though I do ask you not to ask for any more essence.
Again, it would be my pleasure not to. Unless you happen to have any fire essence hanging around.
Oh, no.
Understood. Great.
She looks around. Could you imagine fire in this place?
Yeah, it would be a lot.
Yes, and my neighbors would hate me.
They would. They really would. Well, thank you. All the same.
Thank you.
And we'll start making our way back over to the other vendor.
Method? Okay.
Or do I know how to combine them?
You could give it a shot.
Do I know how? Have I read it? Am I confident in this, or is it like a, oh, there goes 4,500 gold?
Make an Arcana check. See if you can think of a way to compress this.
Nope, that's a 9. You're done. You're done. I'm switching dice sets.
Yeah, you can't recall any particular methods for compressing these things into a core.
Literally rolling my proficiencies all night.
And
I
nothing?
keep getting 4, 7, 2.
That's funny. Alright, so you're heading back to your method?
Yes.
Alright. Back to
'Cause I'm certain
Arcanus
I can't do it.
Tavernus. Alright, so you go back, and once again you find the old elven woman sitting behind the counter. Ah, you return.
With the essences as well.
That was quick.
What can I say? I've been blessed with a silver tongue.
I'm sure you have, young. So, need me to compress those?
I would. Yes. And what would you need from me in order to do this?
He looks at you for a sec. Tell me more about what this item does. Where it's from.
As she's going through the process of like compressing, I'll regale her the whole story of diving in the deeps and the stupid centipede that I'm pretty sure is still chasing me.
Ah, the clockwork behemoth. Some have from the ruins in the past.
Great.
Excellent sources of ooze.
They did drop ooze.
Everywhere.
What kind?
Black.
You found the pudding. Excellent. Well, then that shall be mine. I want you to find me.
I want the beast too, so sure. Do you need it alive?
It would be preferable.
That's more difficult. I don't
Is it-
know how to compel a construct to do anything while alive.
As it act.
Sure. I will give it my best. It will take some time. I have no idea where it is.
Excellent. Yeah, and in that case, he uncorks the 3 bottles, hand waves a kind of a plate that's got mesh of big arcane sigils on it. And it pours this little tiny, like little swirls of air that as they are poured out, you're almost certain that they're just gonna disappear. But instead they're kind of captured in these little wells as the sigils kind of light. Kind of caught and suspended in place over this kind of slate that she has. Might want to hold. They tend to get crabby.
Dismiss Sparks and just take a deep breath and nod.
Okay. She starts doing something. Honestly, you're entirely sure what this is that she's doing.
I want to watch her like a hawk and try to learn.
Okay. You see her muttering something, but almost as soon as she begins, you hear this kind of as sound just vanishes. And you feel this sudden, like, seizing around your chest as you realize that the air has been sucked out of the space around you. And you feel incredibly lightheaded in this sudden, almost like decompression of space. And your vision kind of gets a little black. You're glad you held your breath. At least you still got something in your system, but it's hard to hold everything together. As she just kind of squeezes, you can see this light coming from the sigils is kind of compressing it as you can see them slowly moving. and you feel almost like something is trying to reach into your eyes, pretty much anywhere you could potentially lose air, and it feels almost as if it's trying to like rip it directly out of play until it keeps pushing and pushing, and just as you guys are about to lose that final sliver of vision, you see the sudden pop in your ears as your vision kind of comes back in little dancing lights, and floating in the center is this almost gem-like object of this. It looks like this wind-swept striated stone. It looks like over hundreds, thousands of years, this one little tiny marble has just been kind of sand polished by air over time, so you get these like perfect little striations. Your core. Holds it floating in front of you.
I'm gonna reach out and take it. Very gingerly.
It's a little cold to the touch. You can feel it kind of rumming with energy as you take it.
I'm actually gonna cast Mage Hand and have it kind of like shoot out from mine and just hold it.
Okay. Floats there.
The claws, the dragon claws, are sitting there holding it.
So, you'll find the bee.
I will.
Good. I trust. So,
I'll keep you posted. It'll be a long hunt.
well, we all have time.
Do you potions longevity too?
I never touch the things.
Interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna put it in my bag of holding. Next time I'm in town,
Yeah.
let's get a drink, you and I.
Kind of looks at you and squints. We'll see. Go on now. You have a weapon.
I do indeed.
Might want to speak to that in smithing shop. You might have it. At least he claims his god could have it.
Great. Okay. Thank you for the advice.
Oh,
I will start heading out.
goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Okay.
And I like gingerly close the door behind me.
Gingerly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a little sign of like quiet affection.
Alright.
I figured you'd like her.
Oh, yes.
Fun.
It's been quite an expensive day for me.
Alright,
All right.
so meanwhile, Liv and Thurgle, you guys head to the alchemist to go and do your... Alright. You've had this conversation before. And thankfully this time you have a complete writ for the the recipe for the black powder. But you do walk into let's see. I'm sorry, I'm not finding it. Yeah, you walk into the alchemist. It's a simple enough store. It smells like an alchemist's shop. Not so much potions here, unlike the potion master next door, but a lot of like oils, alchemical ingredients, acids, all those kinds of things. Like a lot of things that you would have seen a lot of, Thurgle, actually. You come across some of these materials in your smithing and enhancing items and in like acid treatments for blades and armor. Like you've seen all kinds of these things, so you can see where this kind of niche fits in. Behind the counter, working at one of the little stations, kind of grinding up something that every time they push down with the mortar and pestle, little kind of sparks fly out. They kind of look up at you, and you see this kind of hunched over old man, like this like long like single strand kind of like beard like goatee thing, kind of tightly tied back hair, heavy like scorched apron. You can see he's got like acid burns on like part of his face. His hands are almost like permanently dyed. He kind of looks at you. Ah, come on in, come on in. What can I do for you?
I have a proposition for you.
Ah, I don't get many of those.
Not very often.
Oh, well,
So,
you're not exactly my type, but
You really got to work on your vocabulary choice, Thurgle.
I'm not getting it.
I know. I know.
We'll talk
Well.
about this later.
anyway.
So, I was curious on if you would be able to produce something in mass for me, and how long it may take to do so. But before we get into the particulars, it is a very sensitive item that does require some grinding and some combining, and it has very flammable capabilities.
I like the sound of it.
And with this can be packaged in any way as pleased, and you please be free to sell this as you will. But in turn for this information, I would like to be able to request that I get this essentially free upon request.
That's a pretty heavy question. What are we talking here? An oil, a flask of some kind, a powder?
It is a powder. And this powder can create essentially non-magical fireballs. Very combustible.
So like a powderized alchemist's fire flask.
Precisely.
Interesting. Never considered turning it into a powder before. You would need to ignite it somehow, which defeats the purpose, but interesting. Could compress a lot more into a smaller space. Lighter, too.
Precisely.
Very interesting. Do you have a name for this?
I am working on it. Essentially, I am calling it a black powder as of right now.
Black
I
powder.
personally like Sparky Boom Powder, but that's just me.
Sparky boom powder. Do I have a name for what it looks like? Another name for what it looks like? I might call it blasting powder myself for what it does, but, well, we can come up with a name for it later. You want me to make some for you?
Yes, and in exchange, you would have freedom to sell it in your shop for profit. And at this point, I would not request any of those funds. Those are yours to keep. I would just request that I have any amount at my own disposal upon the request.
Kind of looks at you and kind of squints, studying both of you. So you want free exchange of information for me making this stuff for you whenever you wish. But I get to sell it whenever I wish, too.
Correct.
What do you think the market is for something like this?
Since there are a lot of non-magical people out there with lots of different requests, especially adventurers needing to get into specific areas, a small concentration can burst any lock.
Not to mention the potential partnership that he might have with our new friend up the road.
I was going to get to that. Essentially, yes, I have a friend who has a sole proprietorship of a specific style of weapon that requires this powder to function properly.
Well, interesting.
So if he is able to,
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check with advantage for me.
it's not going
That's
to matter
all I
much.
picture now every time Thurgle is persuading anything. It's just you.
Yes.
I'm surprised you're not
Absolutely.
actually expending uses of Bardic Inspiration for this.
Nah, he's doing fine on his own.
18.
Question. Just because I don't know if the Nurgle's playing a game or if this happened long enough ago that you don't remember, but you already gave away sole proprietorship and
Of the black
patent
powder. Yep,
of
to that.
not just the powder, the cannon, to my family.
It was going to come up essentially as one of those. By the way, House of Indrik owns this.
Got it. Okay, I just didn't know if this was like intentional or not. Just curious for my notes.
Thurgle's playing that game where he's just kind of selling bits of stock that don't exist.
I'm playing capitalist.
At least it's all in a city that's owned by the Endrix. Could be worse.
That's fair. That's fair. Not going to their enemies, that's for sure. Ah, interesting. Well. How about this? We'll call the first 6 months free, and then depending on how it sells on the market, we'll consider extending it out further.
That is completely fair. I appreciate that consideration.
Excellent, excellent. Be interesting to see how many people want to buy this.
It would be very interesting.
And I'm assuming you don't want me to sell the information, just the product.
Correct. The information is definitely a personal recipe produced by an original alchemist from the House of Indrik.
Whip out my pen and my parchment. Write up
Drop the
contract number
contract.
2 of the day.
Alright, sounds good. Sounds good.
I've learned things from Lady Valerica.
Ah. Well,
Get it in writing.
You heard it here, folks. Always getting in writing.
it's hilarious. Alright. Am I permitted to play with the recipe at all?
How badly do you want to keep all of your limbs? And I don't mean that as a threat from me. I mean that as you don't really know what this is going to do to you.
What's life without a little risk? And he looks and he kind of just like gestures to the like, now that you're kind of seeing him closer up, the severe like acid scarring on his face, like he has been through it. Like it looks like he has not just been damaged, he's been damaged and healed, and damaged and healed, and damaged and healed, possibly hundreds of times.
Well, if there's anyone who's going to create the next evolution of your ingenious powder here, it sounds like this gentleman would be the one.
I would agree.
Well, I'd also be looking to do things like add a little flair of my own. I like to leave a signature. Besides, it also helps if anybody tries to steal and reproduce it. If I throw in an ingredient only I know about, then I'll know exactly who took it.
Precisely. I would request that you do confer with the alchemist in... Shit, I just completely forgot.
We're in Kornsberg.
Yes,
Kornsberg?
the alchemist in Kornsberg. While you do so that way they are aware of any additional, so that they can also keep track of that as well.
Good to know. Good to know. Though hardly exclusive, but it seems like you're developing a portrait. Excellent.
I am keeping it specific to the House of Indrik, because they have provided so much for me, they deserve as much as they can.
I agree. Our benefactors are certainly worthy.
Precisely. So, if you will, I pass the contract over.
Okay. 6 months, so we can do some market research. And then, we'll see where we go from there. Signs it off.
Perfect.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I have to at least put an X on there. I know you're not being all extra with bleeding all over the paper, but you have to sign it too.
And produces a stunning calligraphy of Thurgle Nightbane.
Static calligraphy, just like outrageously like the T is actually like 400 loops.
Exactly.
Got it. Understood. So it's 1 page of signature, 1 page of contract. Understood.
Perfect.
Well,
Well, that being said, I guess you're gonna need a recipe, aren't you?
I'd say that's true.
I hand my notes to Liv. Please make a copy for him.
Okay. He looks it over. Well, I'll take a look at this and see what I can do as he kind of tucks it away into a small pocket in his apron.
At the original recipe, how much do you think you could come up with within the week?
I would have to see how much I would be able to make it all, actually. So, are you in town tomorrow?
I don't know. We should be. I believe so.
Or at least for the morning.
Yes, at least for the morning.
Very well. I will send word to the... Where should I send it?
Where are we staying?
We have not established a permanent residence for the evening yet.
Then one of the taverns, perhaps. You can come by again before I close shop tonight and tell me if you wish. Or if you're such good friends with the Indric family, I can always send it to them.
Let's go with that.
Very well. I'll send word to the estate tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, would you like to buy anything while you're here?
I was interested in some of those acids you may have.
Awesome. Jokes. He does have just acid. Flat out normal acid. This comes in these little vials that you can toss at people. It's awesome. Let's take a look at some other possibly got. Looks like he's got some oils as well. Pulling them up here. Feel so prepared that I have all these things available. He's got 3 different kinds of oil. He's got an oil of slipperiness. Holds up this little black vial. Kind of holds it out to you, and you can feel it's like really this heavy, like weirdly heavy for as small as it is. You put this on yourself, and you'll be very slippery. Magically so.
I was about to say, that usually happens after an hour at the forge.
Suffice to say, nothing will slow you down, nor can you be paralyzed or restrained in any way for a time.
And how much would this cost?
Oil of slipperiness? We'll call the oil 100 gold pieces.
Do you think we would find a use for this?
I were recalling a day where I was triple grappled in a battle, but at the same time I don't want to spend the money, as I'm a cheap arse.
Choice is yours.
I will consider it. What other oils do you have?
I have this one. He pulls out from this box of kind of miscellaneous jars, kind of this cloudy gray colored container. This will allow you to pass for a time being into the ethereal plane.
Ah, you could join me and we can have a tea.
Yes.
That is the potion of ethereal.
Yes, the oil of etherealness. Rub it on your skin and you'll disappear for 10 minutes. So, an hour. I apologize. My old mind.
It's about 6-10 minutes.
Yes, it's true.
And how much would this one cost?
That would be 400 gold.
Okay. And show me another. I am enjoying this.
Kind of looks through some of them. It looks at both of you. Either of you wield the blade? Thought so. Here. He pulls out a jar. It's got this little kind of oil with like these really thin wisps of silver in it. Kind of looks like flecks or shards of metal. Coat this on your blade and it will pierce or slash far better than it usually does.
I'll take the oil of sharpness and the oil of slipperiness. Let's make it happen.
800 for the oil of sharpness.
It'll come in handy.
Yes, it will.
It usually does.
Alright, so that'd be 900 gold.
I will split this with you, Liv.
So 1 oil of sharpness, 1 oil of slipperiness?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Good old oils.
Alright.
Alright.
Which one do you want to carry around?
I will take the oil of sharpness, or actually, you hang on to both of them for now.
Alright.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for yours. I'm looking forward to playing with this delightful ingredient that you...
Just remember, a little bit goes a long way.
Usually true with alchemy. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
And you as well, thank you.
And you see he kind of totters off to his workstation. Continues grinding at whatever it is, and the sparks coming out of it.
In going through all of this, is there an in-game time check since we agreed to meet back at 7 for dinner and conference with each other?
Hey, by this point, you guys have done a lot of shopping. I'd say by this point it's probably close to convening for dinner.
Alright, so I'm going to use my sending stone to Valerica and be like, alright, we're heading back to the tavern to eat. We need to have dinner and find
Which
a
tavern?
place to sleep.
There's like 4 taverns in this town, Liv. I have no idea where you're going.
Use your sending stone.
That's what I just did, and I can only use it once. So it's done.
Closest one to you would probably be the Ruby Spear.
Alright, we'll make our way for the Ruby Sphere then.
Okay. That's closest one, so you see a tavern right there on the market square. Okay, fantastic. You see kind of this large stone-walled building. It's got these lovely carved wooden doors. The embossed kind of ruby, like an actual... You're not sure if it's actually made out of rubies, but it kind of looks like this large spear over the door that looks like it's made out of rubies. And you see a couple, like a large kind of like hall, large bar. You can see a couple doors that go down that are all kind of separate rooms. It is Valerica, you would know this bar. It is known for 2 things. 1, trivia nights. And 2, Arcana contests. There's a bit of a cantrip competition
Dude.
that happens every couple nights. So,
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead.
I was as we go in, I'm going to kind of like lean over to the group and be like, "Did anyone else feel like they spent a lot of money today?
You don't know the half of it.
Would you like me to try and perform for our supper this evening?"
I eat free, so go for it.
I'll live. I'll be fine. I can purchase some.
I
What,
need
here's the
something
big
other
bowl?
than snake jerky,
Oh,
okay?
I have far more than. I have more than 6.
18.
No, I said I have 1,006. It's 1,600.
Oh, I thought you spent the 1,000 on the.
I did. Yes, so I only have 600 gold.
Got it. Okay, I thought you had 1,006. Period.
Why did I think
No,
you
no,
guys
no.
had so much more gold than you do?
I mean, I still have like 7,000 sitting around
Oh my
because Liv
God.
doesn't spend her money.
Thurgle has 14,000.
Jesus, you guys, the only two who didn't buy things, walked into every store and didn't buy anything. I love it.
I have more.
Oh my God, all of you,
I
have
don't.
we-
except
So-
for
We
the poor
spent-
one.
No,
I also did
Thank
not
you.
get paid for last excursion.
It's
Because
just
everyone
really
None of us
funny.
did.
It's really funny.
But
That's
also, we
true.
spent several months in a plane of existence that
Oh, yeah,
didn't
totally.
use the style of money we had, so it just kind
That's
of
true.
sat around.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I wish I had invested it.
So you sit down at one of the booths. A kind of young, kind of mousy human server comes up. Good evening. How are we today? Can I get you anything to drink?
Doing fabulous. Before you take our order, would you like any entertainment for the evening? I could provide that for your whole tavern, help bring in some extra tip money for you if you'd be willing to help us get a meal out of it.
I'm so sorry. We're not that kind of establishment.
You don't like music?
Oh, music. No, we have our live music nights. We have our live music nights designated, but thank you. If you would like to, I can absolutely contact the owner and see if you would like to, if he can slot you in, perhaps.
Oh, good lord. Valerica, this town and their weird sexual innuendos and their inability to be flexible on things. How do you do it here?
It's more of you.
Well, either way, can I get you some
I'll
drinks?
take an ale.
Ale.
Yes.
hot
No.
tea.
Water for him.
Water for him.
Ale for Liv and I.
Okay.
And
a
your
tea
finest platter of bread and cheese.
right away. Would you like to hear of our specials?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Tonight, the tavern chef has prepared a steamed lamprey with mace and cherry pie. It is best paired with a glass of whiskey. We also have a braised pheasant with poached eggs, also pairs well with a glass of whiskey. And then we have a steamed goat with a cashew bread, and that goes well with cider.
Okay.
Braised pheasant with whiskey. Anyone else?
I'll just
Look at
take
your
the,
finest platter of cheese and bread.
Cheese and bread?
I'll take the pheasant, but if you have a
Pheasant?
really dark, heavy tea.
I'm sure we can arrange something. And you, good sir?
How is the fish?
The fish, I would say it's quite pleasant. We have a lovely smoked trout.
Please.
Very well. Smoked trout. Will you be paying upfront, or shall I be adding it to a bill of some kind?
I'll pay up front.
Okay. 4 silver pieces.
Done.
And for me?
For you just got bread and ale, like 3 coppers.
And cheese.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5 coppers.
And as well for me up front.
For you, that'd be a silver piece. Yeah, silver piece. For fish.
Thank you.
will you be adding it to the tab? He looks at you, Valerica.
Sure.
Very well. What name shall I put it under?
Countess Valerica Indrek.
He kind of gets this look as his face just kind of drops, and it looks like he's about to pass out. My
Cool,
apologies.
she's got that effect on most people.
My apologies. I did not realize. Please forgive me. Your grace. He kind of pushes all the coins back. I will inform the owner that you are here, and we will ensure you have utmost prompt and thorough service. I'll get your order. He just runs off, just dipped out.
Well, okay then.
Pull the gem out of my bag and I just start thumbing it. Alright.
Valerica.
Yeah?
So I made a few stops today that I would like to inform you of. I saw the blacksmith that the architect had recommended, attempted to see if I may be able to boost his abilities and make a bargain with him. So I pull out the contract, hand it straight over to her. I want you to hold this for me.
Alright.
It is a binding contract between him and I about the cannons. So essentially, upon request, we can have them all made for House of Indra. Yes, for him.
Alright.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know the job will
Everyone
be
else?
done.
Yeah, it'll be done. It'll be done well. I thought you would find some sort of a kinship with the other clerics. Did that not go over well?
They were not really responsive immediately, but
Did you try to
essentially,
convert them to Hephaestus?
yes.
Yeah. That doesn't go well in this town.
To be fair, that was my doing. I didn't know.
And after seeing his shop and his work, I actually trust him a little more. It means he has true raw talent rather than relying on the assistance from gods.
Interesting perspective coming from you. But all the well, he's a competent craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely. And then, in addition, I did also speak to the alchemist in this area
Mm-hmm.
and let them know that they are essentially able to produce their own version of the black powder, but they have the ability to produce ours for us, and they do have to report any changes to the alchemist back in Korinsberg.
Okay. Can work.
So essentially now you have another location to produce armaments for any protection or mass production if necessary.
Arms manufacturing.
It's not that far of a stretch. I mean, our main export is mercenaries, so...
Okay.
May need to do a little bit of work behind the scenes on this one, but everything should be alright.
Which is why I want
have-
you to hold those contracts.
I have a project for you.
What would you like?
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand again, and the dragon's, claw picks up the gem out of my hand. And float it over to Thurgle.
Yeah, you see a distinctly draconic-looking mage hand just drop this kind of heavy, round, kind of.
I don't drop it
gem.
yet, just holding it in front of
Just
him and,
holds, this
turning
kinda
it around.
scored Gem. Bless you.
Thank you. Forge dust got in my nose.
Yeah, air elementals tend to do that too.
So, please regard what's in front of you with caution. It cost quite a pretty penny. This is an element. This is a core of an air elemental. A very, very powerful being. I believe you and I need to do some work together on figuring out how we can utilize this to increase the power of her bow. It seems like there's some blacksmithing knowledge needed and some arcana knowledge needed in order for this to go right. But this is us playing with Angrivar Dynasty relics. This is not going to be simple.
When has it ever been simple?
Yeah.
He makes
If
it
you
Okay.
were no, with the knowledge you have, do you need access to a forge for us to attempt something like this?
This would be a DM question.
Yeah.
Is any modification or thing that I can do to assist with this worth 100 gold pieces?
Could you be more clear? Like the name of the spell, perhaps?
It's my channel divinity, Artisan's Blessing.
Oh,
I can
I
make
see.
anything up to 100 gold pieces.
Oh, make anything up to 100 gold pieces. You're not sure you're gonna be making anything. The bow's already done. But you may be able to kind of manipulate the same kind of energy to maybe contribute to the process of trying to combine the two items, whatever that looks like.
Okay.
Like looking at the object, looking at the bow, you're not really sure how that fits together, like in any way. But
I was directed to speak to one of our blacksmiths, so if in any way, shape, or form you're uncomfortable moving forward with this, we can go speak with them after dinner. Provided they're
not
still
un-
open.
Not uncomfortable at all. It would more or less be how would we want to manipulate this into the bow? What would be the proper approach? And if I were to need a forge, essentially, am I going to need to smelt anything? Am I going to need to make modifications to the bow? Or can I use Hephaestus's divinity to be able to merge them together?
Bone?
Zephyr?
What?
Yes.
What is Zephyr? Zephyr's made out of bone.
Yes. That's what you told me. Bone-like structure.
an unknown material. The sword was made out of bone.
Got it.
Zephyr, you can't really tell. It's like this weird cross between metal and wood.
I don't even know what it's made out of.
That is fair.
I mean, I'll lift Zephyr off my back and show it over to Thurgle, like, unless you can identify that.
May I? So
I'm gonna
going to
hand that
take-
over.
Where's the
And I am-
the core? Is it still kind of floating?
Yeah.
Each of you kind of get this like ringing, kind of buzzing in your ears and in your teeth as you feel like a sudden
All right.
pressure change.
Not
As
something to
the-
do in a restaurant. Pull it back!
When we have the opportunity, I will examine that and see what we can do.
To look around
Uh-huh.
and see if that affected the other patrons as well, or just us.
Make a perception check.
Passive 17.
My passive is 17.
Passive's 12.
Oh my god. I love it.
Passive 16 for me.
Passive 16 for
Got it.
So that's a 19.
19.
God, I
same.
rolled a 13.
Oh. You see everything. The world opens up. You see beyond the bounds of reality itself.
Actually, my perception turns out to 26.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, a couple of you kind of look around. You see a couple of people like kind of digging in their ears, like, huh, looking around like that was weird. Then most of them just kind of shrug it off and go back.
They could just stick together.
That is very plausible.
Just not here.
I'm really concerned about what a fire elemental core is going to do if this thing
Do we-
sucks the oxygen out of the air around us.
It's gonna cook everything.
This is best done in like a remote environment. Yeah,
So, in the mansion.
in the mansion.
Mansion.
In the mansion.
Okay.
In the mansion.
Speaking of, where shall we be staying for the night?
Where do you want to stay? It seems like a lot of us have business here tomorrow.
How long are we planning to stay in the town for now?
It's not up to you. You're the one about pressing business at hand.
Essentially, with that aspect, I am waiting for word from your mother about the teleportation circles, and additionally, I am waiting for the black powder produce estimates from the alchemist, and also the possible production of some cannons from the blacksmith. So, possibly at least a week to see some of that information, if not confirm some of that with them.
Are you willing to wait that long?
It is as if I do not really have a choice, because with the fact that he has the forge ship, it is going to be near impossible going at him with the crossbows and catapults that we are usually provided. We need the cannons as heavy firepower. I know I have mine, but to be able to do anything, we would at least need 3.
Can't just sink the ship with a few fireballs?
Fireballs? No. These ships are made of beautiful metal. It would take a significant amount to be able to sink them. So my thinking is to essentially provide you with my information. Yes.
You know, you all know I love using fire. I have the ability to change the element of the things that I cast. So, instead of a fireball, I can throw an acid ball, which could burn through the metal.
That it could. I also have an idea of trying to either some way getting aboard the ship directly. I know it may not be my capability, but then providing a distraction so that I may be able to swim up to it and fabricate a giant fucking hole in the bottom.
Another way to handle it.
Because if it is piloted by that piece of shit, it does not deserve to be above water.
They likely wouldn't expect you coming from above, correct?
Not generally, no. But he is sailing with a new crew, so I do not know their capabilities, which why getting someone on board as almost a double agent may essentially provide us with that information.
Alright. Well, you take the lead on this one. It's your country, your people, your expertise.
So we will wait for word from your mother, and in the meantime, at least get confirmation from the alchemist and the blacksmith on production time for at least technically 2 more cannons and enough black powder to blow a hole in the earth if necessary.
Sending stone, and I can reach out to my mother to see if there's any updates, at least for today, before we call it a day.
Please do.
Without us having to go back.
If you're willing to use the charge, obviously it'll be recharged by tomorrow. Go right ahead.
Yeah, let's do it when we have more of a closed environment.
Of course.
I try to be conscientious when in public.
I tend to be self-conscious myself.
I'd like to see if I notice anybody paying attention to our conversation in particular.
All right, go ahead and make a perception check.
Thurgood, would it be helpful for you? Would you at all read it if I got you a book on common idioms?
25.
It may help. I would appreciate that.
Right. I'm going to look into getting that for you, Because I feel like sometimes you're not quite grasping the meaning of the words that you're saying.
That is fair. It is hard to hold on something that is not tangible.
Yes. Indeed.
So perception was 25.
Perception was 25. Okay. Looking around, you see a couple of people kind of glance over at the table, kind of very briefly, kind of like whisper to one another, but they're kind of disparate. But for the most part, most people aren't really paying attention, and the people who do kind of look like are kind of like looking and kind of look over at one conversation. It kind of get the sense of is it her? It's not her. It's her. Is it right? It's her. It's not her.
But nothing hostile, no hostile.
You're not getting
body
any
language or
hostile
anything.
intent. You do, however, notice two people getting hostile with each other, unrelated. Looks like the start of a bit of a brawl.
Oh my god, Liv immediately starts playing background music for their fight.
Okay. You guys do watch as they're yelling about something. You can't really tell. But one gets lifted, and you're expecting this moment of just the shattering of a table. And the dude just boom, bounces like right off it. The table unmoved, undamaged.
This is the best tavern ever!
He just kind of rolls off to the side. And you hear there's this brief like, wait, are we cheering or what? And you see this dwarf come out, and from behind the counter. You guys could not see him behind the bar.
No, he did.
But this dwarf comes out, and you see him look at the guy on the floor, kind of like human male who was just tossed by what looks like a tiefling. He looks at both of them, and there's this silent exchange between all three of them. And you watch as he just glares. This dwarf just glares daggers. I swear, if they could take damage, they probably would be.
Reminds me of my mother.
As they both kind of, the one on the floor kind of brushes himself off, kind of stretches out, tries to take a swing at the tiefling, just out of nowhere, just tries to sucker punch
I walk
him.
over.
The dwarf, as you stand up to start walking, the dwarf just walks in front of him and just tanks the punch. You're not even sure how. He's shorter than the guy, and the guy tried to sock him in the face. He just tanked, like his arm just goes zoop, down and just hits it, and the guy like pulls his hand back. He's like, "Argh!" And you see his fingers like mangled, and you hear this gruff, "Get out!" You see this guy kind of cradling his hand as he kind of stumbles out of the tavern. And you see the tiefling behind him. Get out too, or I'll break your horns. He just kind of slumps and just kind of hightails it out as quickly as possible. See him kind of brush off a little bit, straighten himself up.
Definitely reminds me of my mother.
I go over.
Ah. Countess Valerica.
It's been a while. Not at all. Coming over to see if you need any help.
I appreciate that, thank you. But I think we've got it handled. I have your family to thank for the wonderful enchanted tables. Haven't had to replace a single one for
They're
quite some
fantastic,
time.
aren't they?
That
I
they
love
are.
these things.
Paid good money for them, but appreciate the referral. Aside from the little scuffle, are you enjoying your time here?
Very much so. Seems like you have some new staff. I think one of them got quite frightened once they realized who I was.
Aye, that'll be the boy. He is new. He's new. Yeah, he came Showed up a few weeks back.
Oh,
Yeah, just the shirt on his back, and that was it. Seemed
say
like
where he was from.
he's from the hinterlands.
Oh, good. Okay, so still one of ours.
Oh yes, still one of ours, but it seems like one of the something out there wiped out his little farmstead. But it happens.
Shame. Tell me, has anyone from Goravia come through?
Not lately, why?
If anyone does, just do me a favor and send word to my house.
Alright. I'll keep an ear out.
Appreciate it.
Can I get you anything special?
Make me something fun. I need a good stiff drink.
Alright, I'll whip something up for your friends too.
Me and the lass with the red hair.
Which one?
Everyone has red hair in this group. No, actually, she's the only one with red hair.
Selena's blonde.
Selena's blonde.
Yeah, I'm blonde.
And
He kind of
Valerica's
looks,
red brown.
over at her. Alright. I'll get you something.
Thanks. I'm gonna just toss him a gold.
Catches it very deftly. Appreciate it.
Always.
Right? And he heads off and starts grabbing different bottles. And not entirely sure what, but eventually he, brings over a couple of very interesting looking drinks. Weird kind of red orangish tinge to it.
So what we got?
Gives it in because she likes the exciting things like that.
Well, I decided we're here. We're just off the Drake Spine Mountains. Why not call it Dragon's Breath?
Ooh, I love that.
Don't drink it too fast.
It'll burn you.
Oh, it'll burn you. It'll knock your socks off. It might not leave a whole lot of human around. Or dwarf.
I'll take a sip.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
I said I dived right in, so I'm assuming I have to make one as well.
You make a Constitution saving throw as well.
24.
Nice.
Whoa.
Nice.
Apparently, this is the weirdest thing about Valerica. Every time she drinks, she can hold her liquor super well.
What'd you get, Liv?
I rolled a 13.
13? Okay.
Sorry.
Liv?
12. I can math.
Okay. So for both of you, it burns. Like, he might have actually put fire in this. Like, you might have actually just eaten a handful of just fire. Like, you just reached into, like, one of Thurgo's forges, just pulled out a coal and started chewing on it. As soon as that initial, like, pain subsides, you feel this sudden, like, warmth burning, like, in your chest, and then in your stomach, and then down your legs, and into your toes, and into your fingers. And Liv, you immediately start getting, like, really dizzy. I'm gonna need you to make...
I'm gonna like kind of lean back and grab onto the table,
Yeah. And you feel the sudden, like, burbling in your stomach. What's your sitting arrangement currently?
I'm sitting next to Selima and across from Liv. Thurgle sitting in the corner.
Okay, fantastic.
Shit.
I'm gonna need...
That's what I was picturing
I'm gonna
too.
need you and Selima to both... Valerica and Selima to both make dexterity saving throws.
Here it comes.
22!
That's lucky.
Okay.
17.
17? Okay.
Yes.
What's your spell DC?
Whose?
Liv's? 16, right?
Spell?
Yeah, 16.
Okay, fantastic. You both barely get out of the way, You both take 5 points of fire damage, as instead of bile, an eruption of actual flame just goes. And you both kind of duck out of the way, but you both get a little singed.
Dude, I
And
start belly laughing.
You see the dwarf proprietor is just losing it on the ground. Like he has collapsed, and you see all these faces have suddenly turned, and they're all like, "What just happened?"
So after I like clear my mouth, I'm gonna be like, I think we finally found the perfect drink for Uther.
For me, fuck Uther. I take another sip.
Make
I
another
said he's
con
got to get some revenge on you, all them fireballs.
save. Funny. Make another con save if you take another drink.
17.
17. Okay. Live and
Oh,
Thurgle.
Lord.
Make a
Oh,
dex save.
Lord.
What's your spell DC, Valerica?
My spell save DC?
Yeah. As a sorcerer.
17.
Okay.
Oh, thank
Where's
God. I
my
got a 19. I got a 19.
Okay.
Well, I got a 7, but I am resistant to fire anyway,
You'll
so...
take half damage. Okay, cool. So,
Does my racial effect kick in here?
yes, it does.
Ah, fuck.
So I rolled a 7. So add what?
5.
5. Okay, so that would be 12. Yeah, 12. So you both succeeded, or at least one of you is resistant. So you will take 6 points of fire damage as Valerica just, not unlike some of the fire breath that you have seen her do before. As you see the bartender, the tavern keep at this point just looks and is like, I am really glad that we have all of those magic resistant upholstery. That's great.
This is amazing. I'm just gonna keep drinking.
You just see
actually,
I'm
Thurgle.
like setting up targets at this point.
What's your constitution modifier?
Modifier?
Yeah.
1.
1? Okay. You take another drink.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Because it's been Constitution saves this entire time.
I know. It's strong. It's basically you get to drink your con modifier plus 1, and then you're out. What's your con modifier, Liv?
I only took 1. My con modifier is 1.
You basically
so I'm
have,
good.
you have 2 more drinks of this thing, and then you're out. Like, you can drink 1 more and still be, like,
I have
seriously
never
drunk.
seen Valerica drink herself under the table, so when I
I've
see
never
her pass
done it.
out, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Valerica,
Yeah.
make another con save for me.
Oh, God.
Are we going to have to turn her on our side?
24.
24?
Oh, thank God.
Okay, okay. It's about 5 minutes. And you guys watch as Valerica's like kind of face down, like her face kind of lolls to the side, and you just see like as she's breathing, flames just
She's
out
breathing.
of her mouth and nose.
Is that normal, Liv?
Have we gotten our food yet?
Oh yeah. And the
I'm
kid
I'm
did
gonna
not
start
stick
toasting.
around for this.
I'm gonna start toasting my bread on the little flames.
Okay.
Melt the cheese, right?
You
Yeah.
At this point.
Valerica, you wake up and you're like, whoa. As you see like a piece of bread in front of your face.
And I try to be all smooth and I'm like, Valerica, just eat this. Trust me, you need carbs.
Okay.
You feel great.
I feel fine.
Are you
Okay.
sure? You're a little toasted right there.
It's been more
Apparently
than
Yeah.
this is.
It feels like you had like a good bowl of like a spiced something. Like a really rich, spicy dish. So it's sitting really well. But it seems to have kind of burned off.
Nah, it's pretty gone at this point, actually. Quick burn.
You're not inclined to get another, but it wasn't terrible.
Is the barkeep still standing there?
Nah, he took
There
it.
Reveling in his
I'm just
masterpiece?
gonna call out, there needs to be a competition built around this drink. That's
Agreed.
the first time I've been leveled in a long time.
It's
See,
the
that's why I
competition
don't
through
make
the
the
fire and the
competition.
flames. Many dwarves survive that drink?
You'd be surprised how many fall. Doesn't seem to care who drinks it. It'll even take out a dragonborn.
So, do you have any lodgings here in this tavern? Anything upstairs, or are you strictly food?
Oh no, we've got places.
Fuck an eyebrow and look at her like, what?
Do you need a
Need
room?
somewhere
I can set one up for you, Countess.
I think we'll be alright.
Fair enough.
I'm
Whatever
gonna
you need.
turn to the barkeep and say, "What's the name of the boy? The one we've traumatized, at least to some degree."
Haha.
That'd be Amin.
Poor thing.
Poor thing indeed.
Good.
He'll get used
A
to it.
knack for traumatizing children.
He'll get used to it. You live in
Seems
this
to
town
be
long
our
enough,
thing.
it's bound to happen.
Speaking of, I think there's a traumatized child walking somewhere around this town. Apprenticing under a mage. Have you heard anything about that?
I did hear that one of the mages here took on an apprentice, youngin. What, maybe
Very.
10? Yeah, but not much though.
Which mage?
Who was it? I believe it was Jorga. It's the scroll master.
Okay. Scrolls are a good way to go for a while.
Oh, you know her. She's the one over at Scrolls and stuff.
Know her by name and face.
Right next to quills and things?
Quills and
No,
Things
but
went out of
that's
business a while ago.
It was a sad day here.
Oh, that's
They
unfortunate.
sold
Good
great
franchise.
quills and great things.
I'm assuming Scrolls and stuff probably undersold everything, and so they just beat out the competition. So
Probably.
Oh,
Larger own facility.
no, the owner of Quills and Things was eaten.
Oh, that happens.
Tends to go out of business when you don't have a business owner. Yeah. But it happens. Anyway, if you need anything else, let me know.
Will do. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Alright. So, what are you guys doing for the rest of the evening as we begin to wrap up?
I think we're just gonna finish up dinner. Blacksmith is closed at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we have lodging available in the town hall area. I have a permanent lodging area set up there. So those of you that
Gotcha.
want to sleep there, we can sleep there or sleep in the mansion.
Okay.
well,
But
one of us
between-
should at least take the mansion to a safe place there in the town hall.
Yeah,
Area.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, fair
We
enough.
go rent one of the rooms that my family has. Like, excuse me, unreserved there. And that way we can all sleep in a safe room.
So is the alchemist still open at this time?
No, most places tend to close around, 9:30? 10?
Yeah, by this point. I mean, most stores will close down kind of late, but it really depends. It's a lot of like, we open when we want to, we close when we want to, kind of thing.
Plus, you did give him instructions of where to go if you didn't hear from us. So.
Exactly. But I would like to at least see if he's still available.
Okay.
So I'm going.
Let's
Go
see.
ahead. Head off to town center. Where is it again?
Down this road, left, right, biggest building, brightest lights.
All right. I will meet you all back at the room.
Alright.
Right.
Don't take too long. They won't let you in without an Indrik patch.
Don't worry. Pull the insignia out. Hang it on my shirt.
Alright, fantastic. Alright, let's roll to see if he's awake. Or if he's open. Yeah, you get there, he's not open anymore.
I glance over, see if any action is over at the blacksmith.
Looks like they've all kind of shut down their forges as well.
I'm going to write 2 individual notes.
Okay.
One for the alchemist saying, any further information, please let me know how much you can produce. we will be in town for at least until the end of the week. Slide that under.
Right. It's under.
Well, of course, I would sign it where we are and
Make a
who sent
perception.
it.
Make a perception check.
You gotta be
Passive 17.
Yep. I don't remember.
Shit. 12.
Well, all right. So yeah, I mean, with your passive, because you're not actively looking for something, we'll go with your passive. As you like kind of crouch down and slide it, a little bit of a draft comes in from under the door, and you swear you pick up the slightest hint of burned off black powder.
I'm going to attempt to knock.
See a window open above. Hey! Who's there? Oh,
Hello, good sir.
hello, my friend.
And how are you?
I was sleeping.
Oh, my apologies. I had smelled the discharge of black powder, so I figured you were awake.
Oh no, I solved that problem an hour or so ago. Remarkable stuff.
Isn't it, though?
What can I do for you?
Just letting you know, we are staying at the Town Hall Inn with that place down the road. I explain where it is because I don't remember name at all.
Fair enough. Town hall. All right. So send word there.
Exactly. We should be in through at least the end of the week, so let me know how much you can produce, if you can produce a large quantity.
I'll let you know.
Appreciate it. Sleep well. Hephaestus be with you.
Thank you, sir. It closes. You're like a heavy locking slat. All right.
And then just to make sure, I will approach the blacksmith and sort of look through whatever I can to see if there may be any like cleaning or packing things.
You see a couple of kind of younger like assistant looking types, not necessarily apprentices, but more like little like shop hands who've been kind of hired for like kind of sweeping and cleaning things up. Most stuff has kind of been packed away or like covered. Kind of like these heavy grates have kind of come down over the open parts, make it a little harder for people to get in. The armor and the weapons of the two, the armaments and the weaponsmith and the armorsmith, they're both still kind of like active and just kind of staying in place. Heren's is gotta close down too, but no guards that you can see there.
So I'm going to write the note to Heren's, letting him know that we are staying at the town hall, and that I would like to get a time estimation on producing 2 cannons and how long that would take. Send word to me at the town hall.
Okay, sounds good.
And then if there's anyone specifically cleaning in his shop, I would ask them to place it on the anvil under a hammer.
Okay, yeah, no one there, but you can kind of get it in without a problem. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. Okay.
And then after that, I'll go ahead, head back to the town hall to get some rest.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, as you guys are all walking, Valerica, you notice as the night has come up, all of the former flame-based street lamps have been replaced with a soft kind of magical glowing. Probably quite an investment on the part of the city to kind of change this, but you notice that they've made some renovations, that everything is now kind of a magically powered lamp. You imagine that at least for the next couple of weeks, rubies are probably going to be pretty expensive.
Very fair. But still, cool.
Yeah. But eventually you all make it back. You find your little space to retire. You've always got a little suite available. So, you guys shut down for the night. You all sleeping in the mansion?
No, I'm gonna sleep outside.
Okay. But mansion room with you.
Yeah, Mansion's in the room with me. I'm gonna sleep in the area we're in though, like in the material plane.
Okay, fantastic. So,
I haven't been here in a while.
all right. So you drift off to sleep. Rest. Waiting another day tomorrow, and we'll figure out what you guys are doing as you start your process of hopefully upgrading Zephyr and anchoring your mansion to the real world. See what happens. All right. Very nicely done. Good shopping trip. You all did excellently. You're all now level 20.
Wow.
I'll take it.
Sure.
Oh,
Excellent
God,
negotiations, everyone.
Yes, your negotiations were fantastic. I really was entertained by the fact that you guys walked into a bunch of stores and didn't buy almost anything. It was
Hey,
great.
got a lot of stuff.
No, I know. It was really funny. The like, I'm gonna walk into a store and then
Totally
several
just
times
lost
it was like,
audio.
"Are you gonna?" Oh, really? No. Are we gone? Nothing. All right.
We can hear you. Oh wait, they can't hear us. Saying that doesn't help at all.
I was like, I can sign.
Doesn't help when people are illiterate.
No.
But anyway, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna sign off and stop recording here.
Yeah. We're gonna stop. We're gonna call it. It's late. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. You guys are fantastic. See you next time.
Thank you.
Night everybody.
Good night.